Well, hello. Welcome to another Wednesday live stream where I fix laptops live in front of you and hopefully don't fail. How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing? See a lot of people here already here. So I do have a poll up there. So there's 3 different laptops we're working on tonight. Area 51M, which is the one that has the 2 charging ports in the back. And they said that one of them, the charging ports don't work. Common on this laptop. And another one's a 9530 where they said they plugged in a USB device, and then the next thing you know, now it's having thermal issues or thermal errors or something like that. And the other one's a 9700 where he changed out the battery and installed an SSD, and now it doesn't come on anymore. So that should be fun. Good evening, good evening. Daryl, thank you so much. So yeah, go ahead and vote. If you're on Twitch, it's at the top, kind of hidden, but everyone vote. So a warehouse tour, we've done that on other videos. We might be able to do it later if we have time or something like that, if everyone wants it. But or you just come by. Let's see. So it looks like Montgomery says it's pretty cold outside. It's not very cold for me. Yeah, I think it got down in the 50s, but we had an 85-degree day the other day, a couple days ago. So not very cold. Not very cold for us. Playing captain of the industry, recovering from being sick. Ooh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I've been sick. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something real quick. So I feel a little bit nauseated right this second. Hopefully I don't come down with some sort of food poisoning. But right before the stream, about an hour ago, I went and grabbed a sandwich from a local sandwich shop right up the street. And I said, okay, I'm going to eat that right before the show. And tell me if this has happened to you. If you go and it's a drive-through, I just ordered the sandwich, and the person who made the sandwich is taking the money. He has his gloves on; they're all greasy and stuff. He hands me my sandwich, then hands me the credit card machine, takes my credit card, swipes it, does all the stuff with the credit card with his gloves on still, which already grossed me out. That was pretty gross. And I was just like, hopefully he's not, going to make sandwiches or had already done this, and then he turns around and walks and picks up the broom and continues sweeping or whatever, mopping, whatever he was doing. So maybe he was doing that right before I placed my order. I don't know. Anyway, so if I start throwing up in this stream, it's because of that sandwich. Just to warn you, just to warn you. Hello from Portugal. Oh, it looks like it's 77 in Phoenix, which is beautiful weather, that dry heat. It looks like Colorado is 52 degrees Fahrenheit or 11 C. Drink some ginger ale. I wish I had some ginger ale, actually. All I have is water. I don't even have a coffee tonight because I had my coffee earlier in the day, and I'm not going to have another one. And I can still feel the coffee in my blood here. So I'm going to remind you guys to vote. So if you're just logging on Twitch, there's a vote at the top, and I only have, looks like 16 people have voted on Twitch so far. So guys, press that button. You only have, 5 more minutes. Let's see. Can't wait until the real computer again. Yeah, so Montgomery, I worked on his computer again today. I had to replace the keyboard. The shift key was messed up, and then he had some sort of Ethernet issue, and I couldn't reproduce it here. But I got that shipped out for him today. File a complaint with the business immediately. That's what I'm right on board with you there. So I definitely want to do that. And there's also this other taco place that I've been to recently, and I saw the same thing. They didn't make my sandwich, or my taco, but they had one glove on and one glove off. And then they were taking money, picking up trash bags and all this stuff, and then going and putting people's food in their bag and doing all this stuff. And I'm like, come on, people. This is just basic stuff here. So it looks like in the UK it's 9.7 C, so that's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Sounds like you added some flavor. Ooh, yeah, the flavor was so good. No, I'm literally feeling that like food poisoning feeling, but it might just be that I don't know. You know how that is. Oh, Nathan's diarrhea. Great. Here it comes. 45 Fahrenheit and north of the Red River in Tulsa. So that's like right above Texas and Oklahoma. Let's see. What else we got? Man, this thing keeps jumping around on me. It drives me crazy. 60s in Conroe. I think it's in Texas, right? Conroe, Texas. I don't see too much PPE too often. The thing about PPE is you get that false sense of like cleanliness. I'd almost rather them not have gloves on because then they're like constantly washing their hands. This particular sandwich shop has been around for, I don't know, 35 years, 40 years. I've been to it tons of times, even as a kid. And they used to never wear gloves, but you would watch them wash their hands and then they would make their sandwich with bare hands. They did that for years. And then now they wear gloves and now they're like completely entitled to just touch everything they can, right? So I have a problem with that. It's probably psychological, yeah, but it's still nasty. I still want to not lick his broom that he was sweeping with, or his mop, or whatever it is, right? Conroe is outside of Houston. Okay, that's what I thought. Instacart some ginger ale. Stat. Thank you. $1.99. That's right. I should get on the thing and get someone to give me some ginger ale like right away. Oh my gosh. Thank you for that donation. Man, you guys are on it. Send the health inspectors there. I'm telling you, that's what needs to be done. So our poll, we have a couple minutes left. I want people to kind of focus for a second. So we have 26 people on Twitch and we have 22 votes actually. So that's pretty good actually. So never mind. I think you guys are doing just fine over there on Twitch. 220 votes are on YouTube right now. And I can go over the laptops again. Area 51 is going to be a charging issue, but it's because it has 2 charging ports. It actually requires a 330 watt charger and a 240 watt charger, 570 watts to run that machine, and one of those ports is not working. The other one's a 9530. The customer plugged in the USB and then saw a spark and something, and now they're getting some sort of thermal errors, which is strange. And the last one's the 9700. The customer installed a new battery and then SSD, and then now the machine doesn't come on anymore. Yeah, it looks like Rossman always wears gloves, even working on laptops. Maybe I should wear gloves to work on a laptop. A shot of gin will knock it out. That's right. Shot of gin, just take her down. $10, thank you. Thanks, Mega. I am on dry January. This is a couple weeks in. So I'm doing no alcohol this month. I'm also doing no intentional sugar, which means no candies, no cookies, no like mainly candy, because that's what I like to eat a lot of candy at night generally when I'm drinking my bourbon. So no candy, no sugar like that. Lick a broom, don't eat the fast food. Well, I don't know how fast the food was, but it was a sub sandwich shop. So thanks for that, guitar. And then what's the other thing I'm doing? Oh, I'm doing every single day I'm doing exercise. So I have a Peloton bike that I picked up on Facebook Marketplace for like $200, and I've been riding every single day, 20 minutes, 6 miles, something like that. And so that's been going pretty good. So, but if I had gin, I'd probably just knock her down. Conroe is near the Texas Renfest. Oh, really? Oh, the Texas Renaissance Fair. Yeah. So I have some land right outside of Austin here, and they have another Renaissance Fair that's right over there called the Sherwood Forest Fair. That's gigawatts. Brazil's in. JFix is in the house. How you doing, JFix? What time is it there? 1 o'clock in the morning. You need to go to sleep, buddy. Okay, so our votes are done. Right, we have 9700, no power, has 48%. The second place would be the 9530, and then the third place would be the Area 51. So we're going to go, 9700, 9530, and then Area 51. There's a major recall of chocolate bars apparently from salmonella. I didn't know that. Hello from Germany. Hello from Germany. All right, do I have the 9700 up top? I do. Look at that. It's already ready to go. Okay, so we are ready. We have our 9700 already ready to go. Do we want to get started? Do you want to do a little more chatty chat? I know some people like whenever I just sit here and read questions and do that stuff. My brother-in-law pays fines and refuses to wear gloves. Oh gosh, he's like, it's cheaper to pay the fines. It's 1:12 there. That's early in the morning. You need to sleep, but you want to watch. Okay, so you want to see me fix one so JFix can go to sleep? Let's just do that. So DIY Dave, thanks for setting the title. And I think DIY Dave's not going to be able to be here all night. Got some UK money coming in. Thank you, Joseph. So I will go ahead and just start with the repair. You want to chat, please? Okay. Should we do 5 more minutes of chat? Let's do 5 more minutes of chat. I know it's back and forth. It's hard to appease one person. At the end of the stream, we do another just chatting, but I didn't really because I end up like rattling on and talking, but without reading the chat very well. How was my holidays? So I had pretty good holidays. I got one day off from work. Well, we had a couple like Christmas Eve, Christmas Day off, and then I had the day after Christmas off. And let's see, what did I do? I took my kids to a escape room, and we played a bunch of family games. We did a night for like New Year's. We watched 4 Christmas movies in one night, and the criteria was it had to be a cheesy Christmas movie that was created in 2025. So that was like the end of, it was New Year's Eve, so we had that. That was fun. Holidays were 3 weeks, so and then I had 3 weeks off of or 3 streams off too, which kind of helped me out. Someone sent a Arizona winter for weather. Oh no. Yeah, you want some Arizona weather? That's some nice weather. It's not too cold. I broke another laptop. Oh, goodness gracious. Astronomy. Harry's talking about astronomy. I haven't done any astronomy in a long time. So, did you get any good stuff for Christmas? So I did get a lot of travel stuff. Apparently, my wife wants me to leave. She got me a nice travel, like a tote bag, overnight bag, where you can put your shoes on the bottom, just like that. She got me a portable, like, chair that folds out, but it folds out into like a pair of chairs for camping. Let's see what else I get. I got a man bar. Have y'all ever had these man bars? It's like a soap, but for a man. It's really big. It makes you smell very good. Yeah, she got me a bunch of good stuff. So, and the kids got me tickets to Nate Bargatze. If you guys like Nate Bargatze, I got some Nate Bargatze tickets for June. So that's gonna be a good one. Let's see. Got a couple more minutes here. Want a snowball, Nate? No, I don't need a snowball. I don't like snow. I'm not. That's why I live in Texas. Got 3 streams going, 3 different systems. Wes, thank you, thank you, thank you. You finally caught a live one. Rick, this is Rick's first live. Welcome, Rick. Welcome. It's 12:14 in the UK for me. Joseph, thank you. Thank you for coming here when you should be sleeping. Can't wait for the new Dell XPS in the repair shop. Yeah, it'll be interesting whenever I see the new ones, because I know it's totally redesigned. What theme escape room did you do? So I went to this place called Novel Escape here in Austin. It's just a mom and pop type of shop. So they did one. We did one a few years ago called 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's all based on novels. So this place is based on novels, and it was the best escape room. I can't really tell you too much details about it, but it was like the way that they had it set up. I've been to tons of escape rooms, so it was very detailed and had really good like optical and visual and sound, and like all sorts of different things. And then the one I did, the new one they opened is the Casino Royale. So it was all 007 themed, and then it had an actual live actor in the room that was interesting. So if you've ever done an escape room that has a live actor in the room, that's pretty crazy. Okay, you made it, totally made it also. Hey, we got a new Prime sub. Thank you, Noff. Better not camping in the front yard. Oh yeah, Daryl sent me a gift package here. Check out Daryl's. Daryl sent me 30 toothbrushes, so I can do 1 per day, and I will never, ever, ever not have enough toothbrushes. Thank you, Daryl. Thank you. I definitely go through a lot of toothbrushes, so that works out. So, you're a night owl anyway, Joseph. Well, that's good. I'm good. I'm glad I'm not keeping you up. Trying to find a place in McKinney, Texas is too expensive in Cali. Well, it would be definitely a lot cheaper in McKinney, I can tell you that. All right, well, I got Mega giving $5. Interested to see the industry will react to the RAM shortage because of the AI. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I know that they're almost, I think they spun up some more DDR4 factories, I think. That's basically what I'm seeing. Totally is the 9530 that you're voting for. Mine is the 9530. Okay, so that totally is, that's his laptop. That would be, what was your name again? I'm sorry. It's hard to keep track of names here. That's Jeff, right, Jeff. So we'll walk around yours next. You got the second vote. Okay, let's get started. Let's get started, everyone. And then we'll do some just chatting later. So let me get this stuff out of the way. Here, we can do it like this. All right, let's see if we can get some footage that I can actually edit down into an actual video. All right, new date, another laptop that needs to be saved. And this time we have an Alienware. No, it's not even any Alienware. See, I messed up. We have an XPS 9700. Now, this one, the customer was actually servicing it themselves. They opened it up to change out the battery and added an SSD, and now the laptop no longer comes on. So I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. It's not an Alienware. Gosh damn it. See, that's how it works. You just kind of spit out whatever you can. Take two. Oh my gosh, I'm tired. I got to work a little bit late today, so I've only been here for 10 hours. So that's pretty good. Okay, cut, start over. I mean, a lot of the stuff I kind of say the same, and then I just kind of fill in the middle, so I have to kind of get my, model down. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is see if it turns on. So we're going to hit the power button and see what happens here. And I'm not seeing any power lights. Sometimes you'll see the keyboard light. Now let me look at the front. Did I see a light come on the front here? Okay, so we have a white light coming on momentarily and it's shutting off. Let me try it one more time. White light momentarily, shutting off. Now we don't have it plugged in or anything. Now when we plug in the power meter, that's what we got to see. So I'm going to plug in the USB power meter. You keep an eye right there. We're going to look for seeing how much current it's going to pull. So what I see right now, it's negotiating 20 volts. It pulled an amp for a second, went back down to 0.05, and is it going to come back up? Back to an amp and a half, back down to 0.03, back to an amp and a half, back to a 0.03. And so if you're looking at that, what is it doing? It's cycling, okay? So why is it cycling? What do you think it's trying to do, or what do you think is actually happening? Because, the normal process of one of these laptops is A, you're either going to have it come on and start powering on automatically when you plug it in, or B, if the laptop's already in like the rest state because it has a good battery and all that stuff, it's just going to sit there at 0.02, okay? Now, it won't turn on until you press the button, but what I'm actually seeing is you're at 0.03, you're going to 0.19 or 2, and then you're jumping to an amp and a half. Okay, so it's actually stepping up to that. And here, we'll actually pull up our program and you can look at it on here. Let's see if it will show you. Can you guys see that? Okay, so it's the same cycle over and over again. So we're seeing it actually step up to here, I got to stop moving this here. Let me pause it, stop it. Okay, so it steps up to 0.15. And then 0.18, 0.25, 0.22, somewhere around there, okay? Then it goes back down, and then it jumps up to an amp and a half for a second, and then shuts off, okay? So this starting process right here is called pre-charge current. So what it's actually doing, it's not powering on the laptop, it's actually starting a charge cycle. And then it starts trying to charge the battery and then shuts off. That's what I'm thinking is happening. I haven't even pressed the power button yet, by the way. All right, so this is kind of what we're trying to identify what is going on with the laptop like that. So now it's still doing that cycling. Here, we lost our, that's right, because I minimized it. Hold on. Power meter, there we go. And, okay. So now I'm going to press the power button. I want to see what it does now when I do that. So when I press the power button, I've still got a light. Now the light's staying on here, then shutting off. So it's kind of the same cycle, and this thing isn't really changing that type of cycle. So that's just on this port right here. Could be EC chip. Yeah, you guys are saying it right. Now it could be EC chip. I can tell you the 9700 is notorious for people damaging the EC chip. So we'll figure that out momentarily. Now I'm going to try ports on this side. Now if it does the same thing on this side, so each side there's you get 2 ports on each side, and this one I believe has a chip, a PD or a power delivery chip for each USB port. I can't remember exactly, but I think it does. So I think it should have 4. But we're going to plug it in. We just want to see if it does the exact same thing on this side. So we have the same cycle, right? 0.05, 0.16, yeah. So a lot of times if you have that kind of pulsing thing, it's usually will be a little faster. If it's a short on the board and it's trying to start up a power rail, it would go like this, bloop, bloop, over and over again. And but it's not trying to start the board, trying to start charging. Now I don't know if it's the new battery they installed. Did they install an aftermarket battery? Did they install? I don't have no idea. I don't know anything about what they're doing. So let's open it up and take a look inside. Okay, so everyone's pointing out EC. So if you don't know what an EC chip is, it's an embedded controller. And so an embedded controller is responsible for running a loop of code that is present whenever the laptop is off, and it's basically monitoring for like key presses, the keyboard, even like the lid opening and closing, Hall effects like that. It communicates with the power management IC, which is what handles charging. There's a lot of stuff that it does, and it gets shorted out very easily on this machine, and I will show you why. And I'm sure we have something. I don't think we're going to have a spicy pillow because somebody's already replaced this battery. Did you guys want the note? Ooh, it's hot right here, which is a weird spot for it to be hot. Maybe it's psychological. Let me pull this note up here for you. This is a lot of words, and you guys know how much I don't like words, so I'm going to leave it up to you to read that big pile of words. But so it knows the battery was causing issues after 5 years and decided to replace it. The machine was functional apart from the battery, so everything was working just fine. I got it back. Opened the back and decided to install it, and also decided to change out the SSD and the battery whatever. Lots of words. You guys, I'm just so bad at reading. It's just don't even whatever. You guys do it. So I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on here. These bottoms are fused to the case. It's so bad. It's so bad. So I'm going to, I know you guys are laughing at me. Yeah, I know. I'll just leave it up to you. You guys can read. You guys be the readers. I don't have to be a reader. Just let me diagnose it. I'll be a diagnostic expert, and then you guys be the readers for me. So many words. If you watch Nate Bargatze, that's how he is. He's just like, there's so many words. It's relentless. It's just page after page. It never gives up or never lets up. Oh my gosh, he's hilarious. So what I was going to say is these bottoms are usually fused on here. Now this customer was able to get the bottom off, and if he was able to get the bottom off, he had to have pried the bottom off because these things suck to come off. And the bottom is off, and we will look around. So it is a OEM battery I see here. Has our Dell Genuine sticker. This stuff looks pretty good. Now we're going to scan this in a second, and I will look it up and see if it comes up as a real serial number and stuff. But it looks pretty dirty. Doesn't look like it's that clean at this point. We'll give you a little closer view here. And but right here, a lot of times you'll see pry marks whenever they're trying to pry it open, and little dents. And I feel a little bit of something. Oh, and I can see a little bit of bowing on the heatsink. You can see that it's a little bit bowed in right here. Now there's no dent, but I can see it kind of bowed. So you can tell that there was some prying in the back. And if there's prying in the back, there's usually prying on the side, and that's when chips get ripped off. So that's one hypothetical situation. The other hypothetical situation is the battery was still plugged in while Mod Driver is currently on 5-stream streak. Good job, buddy. So sometimes people will take out the SSD without unplugging the battery, and then these SSD cages are actually tucked underneath the battery, and so it's very, very hard to get it open or out without sparking the board. So what do we want to do first? Let's check to see if this is a battery that they purchased from us. I can actually look that up because I can just scan the serial number. And let me get that screen pulled up here. Because every single part that I sell, I database. So let's see. Actually, I don't want to show you that whole screen there. But I looked it up. It's not in my database. So they did not actually buy it from us. But if I scan the actual serial number to see if it comes up as a genuine Dell part, we can actually look that up. Oops. And so if I search for it on our site, it does come up as a genuine Dell part. The serial number, and this is the part number. This whole thing is a serial number, gives you date codes, all that type of stuff. So it does come up as an in-stock item. But the part was not purchased from us. So they could still be using some sort of it could be a fake battery for all I know, but it looks okay. So what I want to do is let's go under the microscope. This is the area that usually gets damaged. Here's our EC chip, so we could have an EC chip issue. We can also put a test battery in there. We can also, there's a few different things we can test, but I feel like it was getting warm in this area right here, which I don't know. So let's take a look under the old microscope. You know what's crazy? Let me show you. So this ring light here, I go through so many of these ring lights. I actually buy them in pairs, and so this one's already starting to wear out. It's I have it on full brightness, and it's just gets so dim after a little while. They're cheap, and so I just keep replacing them. But at this point, yeah, I think I'm going to replace it after this stream because it's so dark for me, especially if I put the polarizer on. It's almost like having sunglasses on. But okay, so here's our chipset. Here's the issue that I was saying that we have whenever people are trying to pull out this SSD cage is you'll have it, it's tucked underneath the battery. So if you just take the screw out and try to slip this cage out, you end up arcing this against the board somewhere. So what we want to look for is any extra like ripped off chips or any damage on the board itself. Is that in focus? Yeah, it looks in focus, okay. Where's my tweezers? Here it is. So this is SSD 2, so this is the one he'd be changing out. SSD 1 is going to be on this side, so they were adding, and so this is the one that would have stayed in there, and I don't see them having an issue, but SSD 2 is the one where they do the old blow up the motherboard trick. And I don't see any chips ripped off unless I'm missing something. But normally you'd see like something burnt, something ripped, something like that. The battery's still plugged in, so I'm not going to poke the board at all. Okay, so I don't see anything obvious. Anybody see anything? Nope, 28C. Oh, in Panama. Wow. Wow, that's hot. How much does it cost for a normal ring light? I think it was, I bought a pair of them for like 40 bucks or something. So these are like the cheap Chinese ones. If I buy the real ones, they're a lot because they come with the actual like dial and stuff. But I'm just buying these cheap ones now, and the cheap ones, they last me about 2 months, but they're like really bright, and I like the at least contrast that I get out of them too. All right, so I'm going to take this battery out. Let's get it out of the picture. Out of the picture. Wait, that was weird. That felt weird when I unplugged that just now. It wasn't really plugged in all the way, for one thing. But this machine will come on without that. But that's just kind of weird. Let's look at the power meter again. I just reseated the... No, it still did the same thing. It's here, it lights up, 0.03, jumps up, and then that's just shut off, so that wasn't it. Okay. I'm going to take this battery out. We'll get it out of the picture. Do we have a bot in here? Do we actually have a bot? I don't have no bot. Do we have a bot? Yeah, those Chinese fixtures are the super LEDs. Because the LED, the temperature of this LED I actually like. It's kind of a whiter. But I've gotten some that were more yellow. Did I miss it? I don't know what bot they're talking about, but they're going to have to tell you. My phone is ringing again. Who is it? Who's calling me? Is it a spam call? Should we answer a spam call? Who do we got? Nope. It's one of those phantom rings in your pocket. Have you ever felt your leg vibrate and then it's not ringing at all, but you think it's ringing because your leg is so used to detecting a vibration in your pocket? All right, so battery's out. So we could go straight to actually grabbing a test battery that is charged and just plug it in, because that's another option, and maybe we should do that. Let me take this off of here since we already started. Almost forgot the phone. All right, so they had added this PNY SSD, and so that could be an issue too. It's too hot for you. It's actually kind of chilly in here right now. Chilly. Okay, so I have that out. Let's just plug this in by itself without the battery plugged in, actually. Let's just see what that does. So we plug it in. Now it should go to 0.03, 0.08, and then it should power on and stay on. Okay, so Interesting. Interesting. All right, so the battery's actually out of here. You remember how I talked about, or I spoke about it being a charging thing? It's doing the exact same cycle with no battery in there. So that's actually a startup process. So yeah, we could have a power rail that's shorted. Does everyone kind of understand what I mean? So earlier I was thinking when you plugged it in, it was going through the cycle to try to like trigger on a charge state. And now it's not, now it's doing it without the battery installed. So most likely what it's trying to do is actually try to power on, and it's trying to trigger on one of the power rails. So you have a 20 volt power rail, then you have a 5.5 volt, a 3.3, a 1.8, a 1.2. And it works its way all the way down, and one of those is probably shorted or having some sort of damage from something, right? I can take this RAM out of here. We can try to take that out of the picture. Yeah, that's what the RAM rail. The RAM rail. We're going to un-RAM rail this by taking this thing out of here. And then we're going to plug it in again, see what it does. And right as it hits that 120 mark, it just shuts off. We're going to unplug the palm rest because we're getting down to the last parts that we can actually test with. Now, I don't think a test battery will fix this issue at this point. I think we do probably have a shorted DC. So here's, well, I'm trying to think of what he would have done to do this. Voltage regulator, you think? I don't know if it's a voltage regulator. It'd be more of a voltage rail. So all these things are switching power supplies where it kind of pulses and uses a PWM signal to pulse a MOSFET on and off to create a lower voltage. So do you fix older systems from the 80s and 90s? Well, we had a live stream last week where we fixed a laptop from 1997, and we did a live stream on Sunday where I fixed a Commodore VIC-20, which that's completely not in my ballpark, but somebody gave that to me, so I was just kind of messing around with it. But yeah, we usually fix machines these are all customer machines. I'm not like doing something for fun. This is all for work. Let me grab a test battery anyway, but probably the next thing is just kind of look for any shorts on the board or ripped off chips. That's the other thing, is that, you know, if you're having prying tools here, you're ripping off stuffs on the side. PCH could be cooked, but I've seen chips become ripped off the board from prying in the side, so we could actually have ripped off chips on this particular model. But let me just grab that test battery, since I have one. You get a battery, you get a battery. All right, so let me grab one that already has my name, parts people on it. Let's see, got a stack of them here. There we go, I think. All right, we'll just use this one. And I like to differentiate mine, so this one does not have a PP on it, but we will put it on there, so now we know it's my battery. Don't get it mixed up with the customers. Shorted cap, it may have a shorted cap on a power rail, bring it down to 0, so every time it tries to start up, it says, it tries to start the power rail, it says, no, it's broken. All right, battery plugged in. Now, the charger is probably not going to work. I'm just taking that out of loop. We're just going to see if this thing will power on just off the battery. So I'm going to press the power button and see if we get a keyboard backlight or any type of anything. We're not even getting this light up here. So this thing may, well, yeah, it does. I don't even care about the memory module. I'm just trying to get this thing to power on because I'm not going to try to get the post. But I don't even know the battery has power, actually. That's a lousy test, Nathan. Here, we can plug this in and look for our main power rail. If we have our main power rail, then that battery's working. I can't really measure the voltage on this battery because of where it's located or the way the plug is set up. It's kind of stupid. But I can measure right here. And so this should be an input. Nope, is this the input? We got 11 volts here on the main power rail. So this is gonna be the main power rail. So the main power rail comes to these chips, and this chip will produce, I think it's probably the 1 volt, 1.05 that powers this. So it's getting the 11 volts from the battery. So the battery is actually charged. So it's not a battery issue at all. So we have something messed up on this board, bro. This board messed up. So I'm thinking that we have a ripped component probably on the side, so let's go ahead and go with that premise. Looking at DDR4, not nearly $500. Yeah, my other computer in the other room, I opted for a DDR4 system instead of a DDR5 system. So I'm going to pull this motherboard out because we're going to have to look. I mean, I guess we can just look on the edges instead of having to do all that work. You want to do all this work? You want to do all this work, man? I don't want to work. Let's see if we have any ripped off chippy chips. Oh, you know what else we can do? We can just put it on the thermal camera and just see what's pulsing and getting hot when we try to turn it on. What do you think about that? What do you think about that, man? So usually the ripped chip is on the other side of this board that I have seen on this model multiple times, or over here. DDR5 will become cheap once DDR6 becomes mainstream. That's a 100% true statement, but did you see NVIDIA is going to start putting memory slots on their graphics card so you can put DDR5 modules on your graphics card? That's going to be fun. So you can like put as much RAM as you want on your graphics card. All right, so let's just do a quick physical inspection, I guess, and then we'll do thermal camera, and then we'll take the board out. Is that a good game plan? And then we can measure some of these power rails too. In that order. We're going to do it in that exact order, right? Or we can do it in any order we want. If you know me, I'm constantly changing my plan over and over again. Over here, I want to look again to see if there's any ripped stuff, because this is where that SSD was. That's old school, man. Old school. That's a good movie. That's a good one. It's kind of dirty. Kind of dirty, but I'm expecting something ripped or obvious, right? Remember, I haven't measured anything yet, and I am kind of procrastinating to do that, and I don't know what you want me to do first. I probably would start poking some stuff about now. You want me to do some poking? You get some poking, you get some poking. You have an ancient video card with RAM socket slots. That's pretty cool. Does it go into a GPA? Is it a GPA? Wait, why am I saying GPA? APG. I was like, what? I have some letters mixed up here. APG slot. All right, so I'm going to put the meter in continuity mode where you touch them together and they beep. We're just trying to see if we have a short. I'm going to check these coils that I have around here and see if we do have a short somewhere. Hope we don't. Hope we don't. I don't think we have a short, but I don't know why I think that. I feel like we have a ripped chip more than anything. Whoa, it's Wednesday. Yeah, the flu sucks. The flu sucks. So I'm just measuring all these coil outputs here. And these are all different power supplies. We got a 3 volt and a 5 volt over here, a 3 volt and a 5 volt over here, and then an extra, oh, this one doesn't have the extra 5 volt there. So none of those are shorted anywhere. And so I don't know. Nothing's wrong with it. Everything's perfect. I'm just measuring some of these on there. That's fine. Reading is hard. I'm telling you, it is. All these words, you got all these words going across here. Actually, I'm going to make my chat bigger. Ooh, look at that. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Random emote sub unlock. I keep getting all these random emote subs unlocked. How is that happening? All right. Due to cheap design. All right, let's put the thermal camera on the, let's get the thermal camera on the case. So, go thermal. Look at that ugly thermal screen. I love it. It's so ugly. All right, so we're gonna look out for the pulse. Where's the pulse at? So right as you see it pulse to a 1 amp and shut off. Where was that just now? Chipset. So I'll chipset for a second. So I saw chipset there, and then we saw this power delivery chip here for the chipset. So chipset's pulsing on for a second and shutting off. This better not be a dead chipset. I'm gonna be mad. What about over here? Not seeing anything pulse on there. This better not be a, yeah, told me. Yeah, I know. This better not be that. That's gonna be no good. I'm gonna pull out the motherboard anyway. We're just gonna do our due diligence and figure it out for sure. Try it without RAM. I don't have any RAM in there. We're just doing motherboard, plain motherboard. Kind of need the whole story on this though, because if he, what were the words? You guys read all those words. There was a lot of words on that screen. So he said it worked fine. He wanted to replace the battery. He replaced it. And then while it was open, he said, I'm going to put this new SSD in here. Now, do you think, because two things could have happened here. This is why I'm like, my brain is thinking about this. So do you think those were two scenarios that happened where he bought the battery, installed the battery, and turned it on and everything worked, and then he said, hey, I can, since I'm opening this up, I might as well put the SSD in there, then shut the lid, and then tried to install the SSD after he tested it with the battery? He didn't say that, but the only reason why I'm saying that is like, you could blow out chipsets and things like that if you think the machine is actually off by just shutting the lid. But if he was changing the battery out and that SSD, then it would have been, all the power would have been gone. So I don't see how it'd be the issue. Oh yeah, I guess I could look at it now with the heatsink off. Might be a corrupted, the BIOS might have corrupted after the SSD. I don't know. I don't know. But you know what yesterday was? Tuesday. And you know what that Tuesday was? It was Windows Update Tuesday, which means that on the Wednesday today is when I start getting the calls for all the corrupted BIOSes. So I already got one call or two calls today where the laptop doesn't come on. I'm like, okay. And it's because of the damn BIOS. People are crazy. Microsoft crazy. All right, CPU came on for a second, shut off. This is the CPU over here. So it's just doing that same pulse. Now it doesn't mean these things are bad. It just means that they're coming on and then it's like detecting something's wrong. Now at the corner of that chip is kind of lighting up, which kind of looks weird. But here, I'm gonna look around over here. I doubt he took the heatsink off because it doesn't look like this was taken apart at all. This looks nice and gooey. Juicy. Anyone want a little juicy thermal paste? Yeah, so this wasn't taken apart, so I don't see how this would be an issue. Do not see. Do not see. Let me measure the chipset. Do we think it's a chipset issue? I don't know why I'm not thinking it's a chipset issue. So we're just going to measure all the capacitors pointing towards the core. That should be the positive side. If any of these beep, then we have an issue. So sometimes that's the ground side, that's why it's beeping on that side. But we're just going to measure the inside. And they're all good. They're all good, bro. They're all good. So, I mean, the chipset's not shorted, so it's not a shorting issue with the chipset. What about the VRAM? What's this? Inject 1 volt into the PCH and get going. Let's go ahead and light that thing on fire while we're at it. We got 27 ohms on the VRAM, so that's okay. God, I really suspected to see something kind of ripped right here. I mean, are we missing something? I don't see anything ripped off. What do you see? Anything? What's this? Nothing. Just a plain fat 0. All right, I'm going to pull the board out. I keep talking about it, but I think we're going to have to do that because we're going to have to measure everywhere else. So it's terrible, terrible, terrible. You guys get to watch me spin some screwdrivers for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Ah, the gooch is conductive. That's what it is. I see. You guys got it figured out. Thermal camera. We did just turn the thermal camera on. I didn't see anything besides the CPU and the chipset kind of pulsing up for a second. We're going to look at the other side of the board now that we're taking this thing out. All those capacitors are wee tiny little capacitors. Yeah, they are tiny, tiny, tiny. Collect all the gooch. It's causing a short. Something short of the rail that powers the chipset. No, because this is the power rail for the chipset, and see if I measure that, it's fine. And if it was shorted for the chipset, then the chipset would be measuring shorted. And then we measured the input of that chip, and it's not shorted either. So we were getting our main power rail is not shorted going into there. I'm thinking we have an issue probably with the EC chip or ripped off component. Fuses popped? No, there's not a fuse to be found on this board. Maybe near the screen, but that's about it. Replace all the caps. So we have about 1,000 capacitors on here, and if we go by one, we will be able to find the right cap. Turn off auto updates, which is, if you want to do that, you go into your BIOS, and then you, turning off auto updates in Windows, you're going to have to use some sort of third-party tool. And then to turn off the automatic BIOS updates, you go inside your BIOS and turn off UEFI capsule updates. You bought the P1 thermal camera. I have never tried that one. Is that any good? This is the P2. I bought the P2, then I bought the P3, then I returned it, then bought the P3, then returned it, and then bought the P2. But I still have my Flora 1 Pro, which I like, but it's not as sensitive. That's the only why I don't use it as much anymore. But I have them both set up so we can deploy them both. All the gooch is sent over to Andy over at Salem's Techsperts. Yeah, I have a pouch that I've already been building up here. So here's a nice starter gift here that's been built up. This is just from one repair actually. So it's a nice thick gooch pile. So we'll just keep adding to that, and you know, I love his channel too. His sarcasm, man. He has so much sarcasticness. All right. And almost got it out. How many more screws is it going to take? Put up a poll to see if it's the EC chip. Oh yeah, I need to kill this other pole actually. Let's do that. All right. So we can do a poll if it's the EC chipset, yeah, or something like that. I have no idea what it is, to be honest. I have no idea. If it's a chipset, I'm going to be really mad for this guy because it's just like, what did you do? If it's the EC chip, we can just change that out. It's not a big deal. The chipset, I don't even have, I've ordered stencils for all this stuff, but it's like, you know, still difficult to change out. The best technician that's ever lived. The greatest technician that's ever lived. And Lupe. Probably a zip drive is the issue. All right, and the motherboard is out. Okay. Let's see if we see any evidence of tool marks. I don't see anything. Let's take a gander on the board. Just want to look around the edges here because this is where we have the ripped off components that I'm always speaking of on these boards. There's the USB-C port. It's 2 of them. And oh, I probably should put the smell test in here too. Did he mention anything about smells? The people who read? The people who read? Do you say it smells like something burnt? All right, so these are actually the components that I've seen ripped off multiple times on multiple of these machines from people ripping it apart, trying to get the board out, and they're intact. so it's not that. There's our EC chip. It's the old 5107 LJ, the LJ edition. So we've changed those out before. It is a self-programming chip, so we don't have to do anything but just put a new one on. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. Okay, and another area that I found ripped off components is over here. That's usually when they want to pry the board out or take the board out. Okay, I don't see any ripped off chips. So what's the problem, guys? What is the problem? So I'm going to plug it in again. We're going to go thermal, and I want to look at the EC chip and see if we're getting an EC chip issue. So this is the problem I hate, is that it's seeing the reflection of my circle light here. That's the thermal camera seeing that, so I have to kind of put it out of the view. So here's our EC chip. I want you to keep an eye on right there. We're going to plug it in and see if it kind of spikes with heat or it just warms up. Oh, it's spiking with heat. Oh, it's just staying hot. Bruh. Bruh. Yeah. 30. What's 30? That's not even that hot, but it's still hotter than the area around it, huh? Definitely hotter than the area around it. 30 is not hot, I know. Yeah, so let me grab another board. I'll show you. So like, what model is that? 9700? So here we'll grab a 9700. I'm gonna grab one that's not, I haven't stolen parts off of it yet. All right, here's one that doesn't have any parts off of it. I don't know if it turns on or not, but. So we'll plug this in and just compare for contrast. So EC chip is right, YAR. And so that's still getting to 33 and then pulsing off and then should come back on. So if you look at the startup cycle on this, it went down to 0.03 again, back to, and then not the 2 amps. So the second, so it did that exact same startup, went up, then went back down, then came back up. So I want you, let's look at that on our monitoring screen here. Okay, so here's the startup cycle of the customer's board, right? So it goes up here, goes down to 0, goes back up here and holds. So now we're going to plug it into this other board, and we want to see what the startup cycle is of that. Oh, let me unplug it here. It erased it, but y'all pay attention to what it is, okay? So I plugged it in, it went down, up, then it does that spike, went back down to 0, and then it should spike back up, and then, so it spiked back to the same area and then went up to the higher amount. Okay, I'm going to unplug it again. We're going to start over. Ready? 3, 2, 1, plug it in. Does a little initial spike, and then goes up, then back down, and then now it's going to spike up to the same level and then go up higher. Boom. So it's trying to do this exact same startup twice, right? Let me stop that. So it comes up here, and I feel like what's happening is it's going down to this and then never coming, it's basically starting over that cycle. All right, you concur? So, could be a BIOS. The EC is looping, so it could be a BIOS. Totally could be a BIOS. It's crazy if it's a BIOS. I don't know why it would be a BIOS, but that's crazy. If you're wondering about that program, by the way, guys, this little guy right here is my Power Z. Okay, so this is one of the higher end Power Zs. They're about $110. I have a link in the video description for it. But USB plugs in, has a USB connector, goes to the computer, and then you just pass your power supply through it, and then I just have this little extension cables, so I don't have to have it in the side of the laptop. And then that's what gives me the stuff on the screen and all that stuff, which I need to pull back up. There we go. And then I just kind of stack them all up here so you can see it. So anyway, I'm thinking BIOS, unfortunately or fortunately, I don't know. What do you guys enjoy BIOS work? So the reason why we think it's BIOS is if we think about it, it's kind of a startup process, right? So it's trying to start the board, does this initial little startup thing, then jumps up, and then it's supposed to come down, and then it's supposed to run the next line of code or whatever, but it's having to start over again, right? I don't know why it would have shorted out or had an issue or corrupted it if that's what it was, but it is something that we might want to just try next. I don't think it's the EC chip just because our other board had the exact same temperature and had the exact same startup procedure at the starting. So the EC chip is responsible for turning on the board and running that first started part of the code, and then telling the BIOS to come on and run the next part of code, right? So naturally. So let's look at the BIOS chip on this board. It's going to be located near the EC chip, always and forever. They're married together. So here's our EC chip. Where's our BIOS chip? Where art thou? The BIOS chip is missing. Where is it? Where is it? I don't see it. Is it on the other side of the board? Where did you go, buddy? They should be right next to it. Ah, but it is. I just went so fast, I didn't even see it. No, it's right there. I'm just clowning with you guys. But so I'm going to use my polarizer here. Just turn the magic, and then now you can see magic. So here's our BIOS chip. It's going to be a 256. If you guys are looking around on motherboards and you're saying, is that my BIOS chip? I'm not sure if that's my BIOS chip. I'll show you what's not a BIOS chip. So if we look around, that's not a BIOS chip, that's not a BIOS chip. What you're looking for is something that has 2.5 at the starting. And you will see these things all over the place. Now this board may not have a bunch of these BIOS. I think they're underneath these cages here. But let me give you a different board with examples of not BIOSes. Like here's a latitude here. So most of the time, another way of thinking about it, just to let you know, I mean, this isn't always the case, but a lot of times the BIOSes are going to be towards the middle, but it's going to be because you have a chipset, you have an EC chip, and then you have the BIOS. They're all kind of near each other. This one has the EC chip probably under this. This is a latitude board. Yeah, so here's our EC chip. So the BIOS chip should be near that, should be near the chipset. It should be all in this area. The other thing you're looking for are the numbers within it to kind of identify if this is the right BIOS. So if I look over here, here's a BIOS chip, right? And you're like, this is my BIOS chip. I found it. Hooray, I found it. It's a 25Q chip. Yay. It's not. It's not a BIOS chip. Get over it. This is an 80. So you see how it says 80? That's the size of the chip. So that's more like a 080, like so this is a 1 meg chip. You don't have a BIOS on there. There's no BIOS on there. This BIOS is actually for this Thunderbolt controller that's right next to it. See? This would not be the BIOS for the motherboard. So same thing, you're going to have on another edge here, you're going to have another BIOS chip probably near another something over here sometimes. I don't see it. But here's our EC chip, and then we're going to look for a BIOS chip that's near that. And see, here's another one. Look, here's a 25Q, but see, it's only a 20. So that's even like smaller. That's not going to be a BIOS chip. We need a 2 something. It's funny, I can't even find the BIOS chip. Where is it at? Oh, it's on this side. So here's the chipset, and then there's a sticker right here, and it's right next to it. Now, not all BIOS chips are going to be bigger shaped like this, but what you want to look for is the number on it. And so this is a 25B, and then see these next 3 numbers? 256. That's a 32 meg chip, so that's big. So a lot of times what you'll see is you'll either see a 64, you'll see a 128, 256, and a 512. Those are the main ones on newer boards are going to be 128, 256, and 512. The 128s and 256s, you can just use a chip reader to read the data. If it's a 512, take the damn thing off the board. You just don't even try it because that's 64 megs, and it takes forever to read it, okay? These are WSON chips. This is going to be a 6x8. You see the size and the shape. If you look at these are going to be SOIOC, I think. I just call them SICK chips, but they're not even pronounced like that. But anyway, this is going to be a 5x6 SICK, old sicko chip. And so you'll have BIOSes look like this that will say 128 on here. Like a lot of Alienware, older Alienwares will have this exact chip. Anyway, hopefully that clarifies some stuff. I know I'm kind of talking fast and maybe even being a little bit sarcastic. And hopefully everyone's okay with that. But back to the lecture at hand. Perfection is the perfection, so let us understand. All right, so I'm going to extract this chip, but what we want to see is what chip it is, right? So we have it, it's an MX IC, so MX25L25673. Okay, so that's going to be our chip number. All this other stuff doesn't really matter because a lot of times the chip readers just end there. So I just want to put that in the back of my head. You guys help me remember. And I'm going to pull up my chip reader. So I use this one right here, it's a T48, right? T48. That, I'll link in the video description for that too. And then I use these Pogo pen readers right here. This one has the shape of the chip on the bottom, and you can kind of push it in and it kind of pogos in and out, and you can, so I don't have to take the chip off. Sometimes this doesn't work or not, but I always try it first. So let me get this installed on here. All right, so I have it in my reader, and I'm going to try to line this up. I usually put a pin 1 mark here just to match it up on the chip. Pin 1's the dot on the chip and on the board, and we're just going to line that up. I'm going to press down, and then when we pull up our chip reader, we'll be able to see exactly what's going on. All right, let me get this pulled up. Okay, sarcasm is good. Okay, good. I'm glad. All right, so here's my chip reader program that comes with it. I'm just going to detect it. It did detect it automatically, but look at what it detected as. So many chips, a plethora of chips. Would you say that this is a plethora? I would say, definitely say it's a plethora. Guapo. All right, so what was it? I don't even remember what it was. See, that's my brain. It already forgot it, right? So I know it was a 25673 something. And I don't even think it was an L. Oh, we got it. So L25673. And then do we know what letter it was after the 3? A plethora of sweaters? Do you even know? Okay, so we're going to look again. It was a G. So L256. Oh, y'all didn't see that. We'll zoom back in. So it's actually a 73G. So sometimes it asks for that information, sometimes it doesn't. So we're going to go back to our beautiful, beautiful list here. Oh, that's the wrong screen. There we go. You got it? All right, G. And then what kind of chip was it? It was a WSON, but it doesn't have that here. 2573G. Here we go. This one? L256. No, wait. It's 25673, right? 256. Come on, brain. 25673G. 25673G. And it says it's for both, even though it's misspelled right there. So we're going to select that, and then we're going to use that as a read. We got any Prime sub? Welcome aboard. So we're going to read it first, and then we're going to, and that's going to beep really loud. And then I'm going to verify it. So you're going to verify it after you read it. And that way it's reading it again and it's verifying it's the same that's in the buffer, so that way we get the right copy, because sometimes you'll have a bit flip in there. Boom. And now we save it. So we're just going to back this up, because you always, under no circumstance or all circumstances, however you say it, whatever I'm trying to say, is you back up the customer's BIOS, because you don't want to have a mess up here. So I have a folder that I name the customer's repair ID number, and then the name of the model, and then you can see all of these. Look how many BIOSes I've done. Just keeps going and going and going and going and going and going and going. Do you think we have a plague? Do you think we have a problem? Microsoft? No, this was a customer did this though. And then I always back this up as original, just the way I do it. I don't know exactly. I just started doing it like that, so now I have an original. Now we can build this into a new BIOS, or I can just flash one on there that I already have made, because I probably made one at some point. So I'm going to search for 9700 BIOSes, and here we go. I found one that I already made. It's clean. It has a clean ME region, so a management engine of the BIOS is this one area that needs to be set to the motherboard once it's installed or flashed on there. And then I have this one set to no service tag already, so I already cleared that section out. So whenever we flash this on there, it will automatically make it like a brand new board that you just bought, period. I bet there's thousands of copies of BIOS backups. Yes, so I have lots of BIOS backups. Plus I have a lot of donor boards, so I'll extract those sometimes to have them. All right, so I have the new BIOS already loaded in here. Now, if we were going to go down to the process of actually building another one, then we could take the customer's BIOS, and then we would have to inject different regions in there, download stuff, and do all this stuff. It doesn't always work 100%, because you actually want a BIOS that works than having one that is not working and then trying to fix one that's broken, if that makes sense. So let's go ahead and get this flash back on here. And I'll just have to line this up like so. All right. And we're going to program it. This will take a little bit. So this is a 256, so it's 32 megs, so it doesn't take as long as the 64. The 64, or the 512 chip, will take 6 minutes to erase it. So, should name the folders by chip ID, if anything. Well, every single motherboard is different. So you'll have a board, like this board right here was this chip, and then I'll have another board that's a totally different chip. That's the same motherboard, same model, same everything. So it's not, doesn't have anything to do with the chip ID. But if we name it the motherboard ID, that maybe, or the motherboard part number, but I'm naming it by the motherboard itself. And I found that's the best way for me, at least, for what I'm doing, because I'm not working on multiple models. I'm only working on Dell and Alienware, so we have it pretty much in the bag. And that's going. I don't know if you need these other views on there. I can take that off of there if you want. All right, so it's writing. Just don't cough, don't breathe, don't move. If I move at all, it starts over. You guys have been on streams where I've had to keep holding this thing in place, and then someone makes me laugh. Don't make me laugh. And then I have to start over again. Would this affect BitLocker? Yes, BitLocker would be toast. It'll be gone. But the laptop will work, so you have to kind of pick your battle. All right, so this did fail because I'm talking my tail off. Hold on, let me get in a better position here. The Joker. Yeah, don't make me shake. You just made me shake there, Joker. All right, I'm going to try this again. Program. So on the last cycle, so what this does is it erases it, then it writes it, then it verifies it. And so if the verify fails, then it fails. So I have to start over. And I have to apply a lot of pressure on this and not move at all. You don't use shit locker or S locker. No one should. I understand the BIOS programmer depends on the motherboard. It does. But it depends on the motherboard board print more than anything. Sometimes it will have like an issue with like if it has a different video card or something like that, or graphics. So if it has discrete or non-discrete or something like that. But for the most part, what we're doing doesn't matter. It just needs to be, this is a 9700 and it just needs to be a 9700. Okay. Stop talking. Yeah, that's probably a good point. Or I could slow this down. Let me just slow this down a little bit. So if I slow down the frequency, then I won't have an issue. All right, let me rest my hand for a second. All right, I'll stop talking for a second. Okay, so there'll be a moment of silence for the small break. And here we go. This is going to take longer because I switched it to a slower speed. Joker, don't make me laugh. Oh my gosh, here we go. Is it going to work? You could run some ads. It's a bad BIOS chip, bro, or something. Oh my gosh. So I kept it perfectly still. I think we have a bad BIOS chip. You guys are killing me because you're like, I'm hunting wabbits. And someone's like, I'm running to get some beer. You want some? Stop it. Shut up. All right, let's put a new BIOS chip on here. Guys, you guys are crazy. Oh. You guys are crazy, man. You're just so crazy. Okay, so what chip do we want to put on here? It doesn't freaking matter. Oh, it doesn't matter. I think I have one right here. Let's see. What is this? I don't even know. What size is it? By golly geez, I think we have a match. It's a 25650F. 77L. No, I think I took this off some crazy model that's not even close. So I'm not going to say that. We're not going to do that one. Let's just take one off one of these crackerjack broken boards that are the same laptop. So let's see. Yeah, this one has one on here. All right, the YAR. Let's see. Can't focus. The 7.3G in the house. And the house is ready for it. All right, so let's pull that guy off. And you know what we're going to do? And since we're pulling it off and we're going through that whole process, I'm just going to program it outside of it so I don't have to sit there and freaking hook that thing down on there because that's driving me crazy. All right, don't get the boards mixed up, man. So the boards that I mark that are bad, that I've already stolen chips off of, I put red mark on the CPU and GPU. It just means that I stole stuff. Pull my finger. You guys are nuts. You guys are nuts, man. All right, so I'm going to pull this guy off. We're going to put it into a chip reader and just program it, and then we'll be able to put it on there. And Bobby would be your uncle after that. So let's get our air going. And then we can do some soldering. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, what happened? I don't want my screen that's shut off here. I have an old tablet that's like 10 years, 15 years old right here that I use as my, whatever, Elgato pad thingy. And sometimes it shuts off in the middle of using it. Okay, here we go. We got the picture. All right, so I'm going to take this guy off. Did JFix go to bed yet? He probably said, oh man, it's a BIOS, I'm out of here. Oh, a BIOS, we don't need no BIOS. All right, so we'll use some Omega 559, the old Black Horse Remedy. Beautiful, beautiful flux. This stuff right here smells so good. The complaint that I have with it is that it's hard to get out sometimes when it sits. So like I'm squeezing really hard to try to get a little bit out of here. So that would be my complaint. Here we go. Here we go. 450 express remove. Yeah, we are doing 450, but you know, we could do a Northwest repair version and put it like 300 and then just do this for 5 minutes. I don't want to do that. I wonder if Jay's 2 Cents is going to see his video. Did y'all see Northwest Repairs? JFix, or J, what did I say? JFix. No, Jay's 2 Cents. There you go. Jay's 2 Cents rebuttal on some sort of replacing a connector on a graphics card. Jay's 2 Cents. We all know Jay's 2 Cents can't actually solder, so that's part of the fun. Why isn't this thing coming off? I'm gonna burn this chip up. Why is this thing glued on here? It was hopefully sarcastic, heavily sarcastic, but it was him trying to teach him how to change out a connector properly on a 5090 or something like that, a power connector on a 5090 or 5080 or 5070 or something, 4080. Here's our beautiful brand new BIOS chip. But apparently, I didn't see Jay's 2 Cents video, but apparently they didn't do very good. All right, so one thing you're going to do when I'm putting it inside these chip readers is I need to make sure that all these are flat, and those all do look pretty good, and there's not like a big solder ball there. And so here's the little chip reader thingy I'm going to use. It has a 6x8 and a 5x6. And so I'll just put her in here in her new home. And we need pin 1 to be up there. So I'm going to stick it in this little guy. Get in your home, your temporary home, your Airbnb. We're going to program you in here. So stuff it down in that hole. There you go. So now I can just install this. And then we can go, look, Mom, hands-free. Yeah, Northwest Repair is great. He's funny. He's He makes everything lighthearted at least, right? All right, so now we have this just installed. Look, mommy, no hands. And we can continue on here. So let me just verify that's detected. It is. And then we're going to program this guy with that programming that we came up with. Who cares? I don't know. Who cares? Yeah, Tony's sense of humor. Tony. Jay just used a hammer. Really? Really? That's crazy. I mean, that's probably the whole thing about it, because then he knew that he was going to get the whole outrage and all the stuff, all the fun stuff. Water's good. So I also have, this does a 5x6, but this also does the other SoC. I don't have it on there. The SiC chips is what I call them. You just hold it down and put it in here. So I have a couple of those different types. Okay, so I don't have to hold my breath on this. We can actually talk. You guys are more silent now than I was when I was holding the damn chip thing down. Why'd everyone just stop talking? Okay, we're just going to sit here quietly while this thing programs. Flux on, flux off. That's pretty funny, actually. I like that. Flux on, flux off. I'm going to pin that, or clip that. Nope, not raid that. I'm going to clip that. Where's my clip button? I can't see it. It's behind this big thing here. Clip that. There we go. Okay. All right, so what's going on my tablet here? All right. Did we program yet? We're still erasing. Oh, look. You see how much further it's getting erasing? So I don't know if it actually got to the full erase thing. It must have had an issue. Dragon, I'm assuming that that's a Karate Kid reference. Otherwise, I don't know who says flux on, flux off. And then paint the fence. Paint the fence. Paint the fence. Most mechanics hate cars. For some, computers repair. Yes. That's right on point. Am I getting low on Q-tips? I just ran out of one of my boxes, and I'm breaking into the second box, Daryl. Thank you. This one's programming good. Is it gonna make it? Are we gonna have picture? Yeah, Karate Kid was wax on and off, but not flux on and off. Thanks for the clarification. There's so much programmers out there. I'm sick. Vibe programmers. Okay, it programmed successfully. With no hands, mommy. So let me get this chip off of here. Let's get our view back the way we like it. Computer repair is addiction. I think that diagnosing things or problem solving is an addiction. That's my thing. Because I like any type of thing that I have to do this type of diagnosing. I know some people hate that portion, but I love it. All right, so we're going to take this BIOS chip off. And I think I've only had one other or two other bad BIOSes ever. BIOSes? 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 BIOSize? Is it, how do you say more than one BIOS? I think the addiction is feeling that you get when you fix it. Yes, and then whenever I don't fix something, that endorphin crash, it sucks. How dare you vibe code that BIOS? Oh, Beyonce's. It's Beyonce's. That's a good one, bro. I like that. It's more than one BIOS is a Beyonce's. I love it. You nailed it, bro. Nailed it. Or broette. I don't know. I'm sorry. I hate to just assume. It's an acronym for BIOS. Okay, I probably should pay attention to what I'm doing. Hey, this thing just came off. And you are free. This BIOS is free to move about the trash bin. Let's just set this new one on here. Beyonce's. I don't think, if I did that shirt out of that, nobody would get it. That's how most of that stuff is. BIOS is, BIOSys. Just a little bit of happy flux for it. Just a little bit, don't need much. Save under there. Get this thing lined up a little bit better. There we go. All right. We raw dogged that thing right onto its home. Let that cool off for one mere moment. That's funny as F. BIOS chip or BIOS chips. There you go. You just pluralized the chips instead, huh? That's too easy. Too easy. Just like Canadian gooses. You have geese, right? So you have one BIOS and then you have beasts. BIOS? Beasts. You know what I mean? More than one BIOS. They're beasts. All right, so if this is going to work, it's going to work. If it's not, it's not. And then we're just basically just wasted our time. But we did mark something off of our list. And if this isn't it, then it may be an EC chip or the PCH or something like that, or something else I don't know, and I don't need to see where it is, but we're going to just check and see what's going on, man. Pay attention to this power meter right here because it might be coming on, it might be working. Okay. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, 0.05, 0.03, 0.08, 1.5 amps. Back down to 0. Is it going to go back to 2.5 amps after that? And it's coming on. Did you see it go to 2.5? Did you see it go to 2.5? So do you want to look at our power cycle on our power thingy? So here's the one that was on the other motherboard, right? So we had that spike up here, did this thing, went back down here, then went back up here to this area, and then went up to the 2.5 amps. So now I'm going to start the recording. We're going to plug in the board we just fixed. Get ready, 3, 2, 1. It does a spike up. Back down, back up. Okay, so that's that one, the initial that we're looking for. And then it should do that one again. There it is, right here. And then now it's up to the full amps. So we have picture. We just can't see it yet because we haven't hooked it to a motherboard that has a screen, so we don't know if it's actually working, but we did get to 2.5 amps. And I mean, had coffee for a few hours. I'm being a little bit crazy. If y'all want me to dial it down a little bit, let me know. I start to have a little bit too much fun. So we will install this motherboard back in here. Actually, let's just go monotone. So now it's time to reinstall this motherboard. Dry eyes. Do you have dry eyes? What was that commercial? Was that the 80s? Where that one guy was the dry eyes commercial guy? Get clear eyes. Let's talk like this. We are going to install motherboard. We must probably clean off these heat sinks first before we do anything else. I don't know what I will do if I don't do that first. Let's do it. A little alcohol on this thingy. A little wipe on this thingy. There. One done. Let's go to next one. Okay, all right. Is that enough of that? Ben Stein, that was his name, yes. Didn't he have like a, that was a commercial, but didn't he have like a news show or something? Was he on, what was his claim to fame? What did he do? Was he a scientist? That's Bill Nye the Science Guy. Who am I thinking of? Waiting for a picture. You want me to go faster? Is that what you're saying? Speed up? Oh, a game show? What game show was he on? Ben Stein's Money. Did he talk like that, like the Clear Eyes guy, or was he a little more animated? Was it entertaining? I gotta buff this to a mere shine. I don't know if you guys saw that video, the comment in this one video about me changing out to PTM 7950, but this guy told me I did not buff the heatsink and the chip to a mere finish before I put on the stuff. Like, where's the beef? Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That's right. He was the principal, right? Is that right? Or the teacher. He was a teacher. Presidential speech writer and hosted the... He was a presidential speech writer? No wonder the president's speeches are so boring. If you want me to write for you, I will write it in this tone the whole time. I wonder if the presidential speech writers are now using ChatGPT to write their speeches. What do you think? Yep. Everyone's using that. Jimmy Kimmel, sidekick. That was Jimmy Kimmel's sidekick is, what's his name, right? You're saying Kimball, but Kimmel, right? That's what's his name? I can't remember now. On Ben Stein's Money. Oh, Jimmy Kimmel was a sidekick on Ben Stein's Money. Whew, you guys are pulling some deep cuts. Some deep cuts. I don't know what network this was on. Was this on like Comedy Central or something? Or is it on the Game Show Network? Trump's LLM for AI. Yeah, probably. I forgot. Yeah, we probably shouldn't even start talking about any of that stuff. What is going on with this connector here? Why does this need to be tucked? Adam Carolla. I remember that guy. All right, so I have a special toothbrush to get the gooch out. Always have a special toothbrush for gooch, okay? So we're just gonna kind of brush your teeth, brush your teeth. I know you guys want picture, but I'm prolonging the picture because I know we have picture. So I'm actually doing the real deal because otherwise I'll have to take this back apart again. I don't want to. So we're gonna put some thermal paste there and, oh, I'm out. Oh, don't have enough here. I'm squeezing really hard. I go through so much of this stuff. These are like 60 bucks a tube. Let's see if I can get it. Yeah, there we go. So we're doing an X method. So the GPU is getting an X on here, which I may end up adding a little bit extra to this little corner here. And then the CPU gets just a line. But I have more tubes. I have a stack of them here. I buy them like 10 at a time. Yeah, caution, no politics. I shouldn't have brought that. It was my fault that I even mentioned the presidential thing. So you guys, yeah, don't talk about all that stuff. We don't need to get into any of that stuff. It was my fault. I don't know what my brain was thinking. Where does this go? Let's see. We need to find where this goes. I think it goes right here. You guys are gonna have to help me. All right, so this goes here. We have that, so we need a cooling pad there. That's what we're looking for. There we go. All right, so you see that kind of horror show that I have set up there, but that's gonna be good enough. I need to put these screws in before I actually put it together, or else I'm not gonna be able to get this screws in because it gets covered up by the heatsink. PTM 7950 is a pain in the ass to apply. Well, it's also overkill for this machine. That's why I don't need to put it on there. It's way overkill, but it's not that bad to install. So I could try on a later machine or another one, but basically the trick is you just cut the piece to be on there, you rub it really, really hard, and so it's stuck on there, and then you can just peel the cover off. So you peel off one side, install it on there. So heat sinks like this, here's what I like to do, and I don't know if everyone else likes to do this. So I've just set it on there, and then I wiggle it back and forth. I press down and kind of wiggle it, and that helps kind of, you know, stick it down. And now this thing is actually really stuck on here and spread around perfectly. Has a perfect, no PTM. Yeah, we're not getting PTM on this. I'm actually almost out. I have like, this is all I got left. Out of this sheet that was this big, I got this much left. So I've ordered more, but it hasn't arrived yet, so. Thermal Grizzly is good, and I do have a pack of Thermal Grizzly here. I'm almost out of that too. I have more in stock, so I can just go grab it from stock, but I hate to use the stock up. So I'm just gonna put the screws in here just enough to turn it on, and then we will, did I fix the bend? Ooh. I didn't necessarily fix the bend. It wasn't like super bent, but we're just looking for evidence. So I see a little bent here, and I actually do now see a screwdriver mark right there. It's right, let's see. Here, we'll do a microscope to show you the screwdriver mark. Doesn't have to be chilled first. No, PTM, I don't chill it first. You know what? I might do one for science just to show you if you guys really are having an issue with doing PTM. But yeah, so here's a mark on the CPU or the heatsink where you can actually see the screwdriver divot. Can you tell? So they were trying to pry the back open and they pressed down right there, and you can see that whole area is just dented. And then I'll do the other side of the heatsink. And the other side just seems a little warped up, that's all. And maybe a little prying right there. But, so here, okay, for science, we're gonna do PTM, okay? Because you guys seem to be a little bit, so I'm gonna waste this on the CPU only. We're gonna leave the GPU just the way it is. So I'm gonna kind of rock this back and forth to try to get it back off, but I'm pulling up at the same time. All right, got it off. And this didn't even apply all the way, which is fine because I hadn't screwed it down yet. But we'll wipe this off and we will do PTM because that's what the doctor ordered apparently. So we'll wipe this back off. Okay, so I don't want you guys to not know how to do this. Yeah, I guess I can bend this back while we have it off. Just a little bit, just a little bend. Just a happy little bend. We're just prolonging the inevitable. Inevitable. Okay. All right. So who does not know how to apply PTM 7950? So I don't have it cold. It's room temperature, just regular room temperature. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to set it down. And so I don't even have much left, which is crazy compared to how big this sheet was. And so I will make this a mere finish or else it's not correct. Freaking people. Here. All right. There we go. All right, we got this lined up to that corner. All right, so I'm just going to line it up to this corner. So I'm just finding a shape that will fit over this whole die. And I will use my nail and just kind of scratch there in that corner. So I'm just trying to find the opposite corner and I just scratch it like that, okay? So now we kind of have the shape there, and that's what we're gonna use our scissors to cut it. And I always cut it oversized. People are saying, well, you don't need to make it oversized, but I always cut it oversized. So I'm just cutting it right past my line that I just made. Like that. There you go. We have our piece, right? And it has a film on both sides. So it's not going to stick to anything yet. And then now you're like, okay, well, what am I going to do? So I start just peeling on one side. I don't really care which side I peel on. I just peel it until it starts coming off. So this side's coming off first. So I just peel that film off. And now I have the PTM right here. And I just line it up on my chip. Like so. And there you go. See, it's a little bit bigger than the chip the way I have it cut. And are we zooming it all the way? That's max zoom so you can see it. So now we just need to get the extra off. Now what I do is, if you just apply a lot of pressure here, just rub it really good, then it's like pretty stuck on there. So I just take a pair of tweezers and I just start grabbing this corner right here. And you see how it wants to lift that corner up? So I'm just gonna come over here to this corner. Look, this is coming off. It's coming off just fine, right? And I can just peel that thing all the way off if I want and I'm done. Or another method would be like, okay, well, I want it to be exactly the size. So then you take your fingernail and I'm gonna rub right on the edge of the core or right on the edge of the die, and I'll scratch it with my fingernail and it will basically cut it to that size. Cut the PTM. See if I can get it perfect. This die is not that sharp, so some of them are sharper than others. Now I'm gonna lift this up. It didn't even do it, but if I would have lifted it earlier or didn't lift it earlier already, it would have pulled this off and just peeled the whole film with it and left the size, right? So anyway, I'm just gonna peel this off. Anyway, there it is, it's on there. That's it, that's all it took. You see how this is the piece I was trying to get it to come off at the same time and just leave it right on the die. But the die was not very sharp. All right. So, was that easy? Seemed pretty easy to me. The main thing is just press down really hard. So, it almost looks like it's not applied properly, but the core is right there. It's like I have it way over applied, right? It's kind of overhanging. So, okay, easy money. And this guy got PTM, or this girl, this gal, this person. What was it? What's his name? This is Scotty, right? Yeah, Scotty. All right, Scotty got some PTM, man. You've been pimped. You got PTM'd. All right, so we're gonna get our heatsink screwed on there, and let's get it together. Let's get and see that Dell screen, and let's move on to the 9530. That the guys in the chat, old Jeff's in the chat. Easy pizza. I bet it doesn't. Wait. Bet he doesn't know. Yeah, I'll let him know. Well, I usually let people know, like, hey, I fixed this on the live stream. You want the link to it or whatever. So a lot of people go back and watch their own repairs on the live stream if they're not here live. Because, you know, it's kind of something kind of cool to watch your own laptop get fixed. What'd you say? It's conductive? Wait, I can't see where it is. I thought I saw a message in there. Now I can't find it. Did you take off the other thermal paste again? I left the thermal paste on the GPU because we just put that on there. What am I looking for? I was just going to put 1 or 2 screws in here so the board doesn't fall out when I flip it up here. Yeah, so we have brand new thermal compound on the GPU and then the PTM on the CPU. PTM pizza topping. Okay, got that. I don't need speaker. Battery. Fans. You probably don't even need the fans right now, but I'll do it. I'll do it. That's very cool. Are we talking about my PTM stuff or fixing the computer? Power button. What is going on with my power button here? I can't see it. That's what the problem is. I don't know if you guys are getting old, but my eyes are getting messed up from looking through this microscope too much. So I'm really having issues seeing things. There we go. Got that. How would you rate the profile, the flavor profile of PTM paste? I mean, I haven't licked it, but I find that it is good. I mean, this stuff that I use right here is really good anyway. This is Arctic Silver 5. I use this as just my regular paste, and then I use that PTM. And so, I mean, for the most part, it's just, you know, thermal transfer to the fans. Now, a lot of times you'll have laptops that run so hot because of the cooling capabilities of the machine. So a lot of times you're getting as much heat as you can to the heatsink. It's just the machine can't keep it cool enough. So, okay, RAM, memory. Hello. Hello, Raul. Brain break next. I'm going to have some water. I didn't bring my coffee, so I don't have a coffee. Okay. Here we go. Keep an eye on the power meter there. Got it plugged in. Let's see if we get the Dell screen. In 3, 2, 1. Dell screen, go. Come on. Come on, Dell screen. Come on, Dell screen. Come on, Dell screen. Oh, I saw it for a second. It's going to come back off. It's going to go back on. It should. There we go. And we have picture. I can't believe. So, so we saved another one. I saved another laptop. So this laptop BIOS issue. Now I don't know exactly how the customer could have. Well, I guess they shorted out the BIOS. So they must have somehow damaged the BIOS chip while they were changing out the battery and the SSD. And I guess maybe they even dropped a screw on the board or something. I have no idea. So we got this one going. I'm just going to wait for it to. Okay, the fans are blowing full blast. Now we did put a brand new BIOS on this, so it's going to be in usually manufacturing mode. We're not going to have a service tag set, and it's going to have a few different settings in here. But we're going to see if we can get into the BIOS itself real quick. Make sure all that's working. There we go. So there's manufacturing mode. I can just exit out of that if I want to. I'm not going to deal with that right now. And then if we get into the BIOS, it's one of these buttons. There we go, and we don't have a service tag set, so I'll have to set the service tag to match the guy's laptop. Now, like I said, the service tag, oh no, excuse me, the BitLocker key is going to be gone. So if he doesn't have BitLocker backed up in his Microsoft account, then he's a SOL, and we're going to have to kind of figure out how to fix his other BIOS or fix his other board, his other BIOS, I guess. And maybe I can get it working on there and then be able to put his his BitLocker key back on there, but we will see. All right. So we will be moving on to the next laptop. That means a new bowl for the screws. Got a new bowl right there. Let me grab the next laptop. So this next one's going to be a lot more complicated. Or it's going to be very easy. I don't think it's going to be easy because I actually don't know, based on his notes, I don't know what the heck is going on with it. So this one's going to be, can I clean this counter off real quick? I hate dirty counter here. I was clean between, if you don't mind. Reflash the original to save it, but oh, maybe, because we were able to read it. I don't know, but it's probably corrupted though. But yeah, so maybe I'll deal with that later. So if the customer doesn't have his BitLocker key, then we'll have to play around with that. But for the most part, what we do is I'll just flash that on there. We'll set the service tag and then have instructions on how to get the service tag, the BitLocker key, which is very easy usually. Make sure there's no personal information here. Okay, we're good. All right, so here's the customer's note. Lots of words. There's so many words, I can't handle it. So this is Jeff, and I talked to Jeff earlier. And so the gist is he had a power bank or a PD power delivery, not an OEM charger, basically. He plugged it in there, and then it sparked. And then now the board apparently turns on, but then, or it was a power meter. Yeah, it was an Anchor PD charger. And it gives an error and shuts off. A UEFI overheating condition, which I've never heard of that. So it's basically, it seems like the BIOS is detecting something overheating. Why is something overheating? I don't know. I don't know what an error 711 is. Never heard of it. Zap on the board. So anyway, all this stuff never dealt with before, have no idea. But I've dealt with 9530s a lot. I fixed one earlier today, or partially fixed one. There's a lot of 9530s having overheating issues in a certain way. It's all on the GPU, so. All right, new day, another laptop to be saved, and this time we have an XPS 9530. Now this one was sent in because the customer said that they plugged in something into the USB port, and then they saw like a spark or something like that, and then now the laptop is throwing a thermal error and shutting off. So I haven't taken a look at this yet. Let's take a look together and see if we can get this figured out. So this one's going to be kind of complicated. We got a lot of cool stickers on here though, and let's just see if it turns on the battery or whatever, if there is a battery installed. Let's see if it turns on. Nothing's happening here. I don't see anything. All right, so totally not Snake. This is his laptop. So everyone you can ask questions to totally there. That's Jeff. And plug in the power and see what the power meter says. Right when I plug in the power, we got nothing. Let me plug in the other one. We got nothing. Nothing. Like zero nothing. This side, nothing. Okay, what about this side? Okay, that side we got 5. All right, I'm going to flip the port over. And we got 5. All right. So based on what I know, or what I've seen just now, is we have this side doing nothing. Well, what does it do for a second? Did it go up to something for a second? Nope. But I do see... Okay, so I flipped it over. So if I flip it, this side I'm getting 5.1. And I want you to look right here at the bottom. You see the CC1? See that line right there? We're at 0.76, which is correct for 5 volts, and it should be at 1.6, I think, whenever we're at 20 volts. So if that negotiates up to 20 volts, it will start natively at 3.2 or 3.17, and then when we plug it in, it should stay, if it's not detecting the actual plug when you plug it in, it should stay all the way up, but when I plug it in, it's at 0, and then that goes, CC1 goes to 0. And then we check this other one, we plug it in, CC1 goes to 0, then I flip it over, and it goes to 0.76 and 5 volts, and then I put in the other one. Oh, it's at 0. I thought I got 5 volts out of it earlier. Nope, it's at 0. So when we have something like that where the CC1 line is going to 0, you have 2 different possibilities. You do have inline, or I guess, would they be inline? They're not really inline, but they are on the CC lines that are diodes that go to ground, and they're protection, and so a lot of times they will short out. So that could be the case, or we can have a bad PD controller. This side, did both ways work on this one? I can't remember. So we got 5 volts that way. Come on, get in your home. And 5 volts that way. Now both sides are doing the same thing, and then this one's actually pulling 0.06, okay? So this side is working fine. This PD controller is working fine. And the way this laptop's set up is you have 1 USB port on this side, 2 on this side. This one's on 1 USB-C power PD chip, and this one's on 1 chip. So 2 ports on 1, and then 1 chip over here. So this one seems to be working fine. This one right here is the one that has the issue. And this is probably, Jeff, this is probably the side you plugged into, I bet, that had the most on here. So I'm thinking bad PD controller, probably exploded from plugging in the Anchor thing. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't want you plugging in anything into your laptop to charge your laptop except for an OEM charger, and that's what you have here. So this is a Dell charger, OEM, has Dell logo, real plastic. It's heavy. This is the only thing you should plug into these machines. I know Anchor's a good brand, but it's not worth it. So yeah, we have a power rail problem, but it's going to be on the PD controller. The main thing is I bet we can get this thing to turn on. Well, maybe we could with the battery, with a charged battery. But if you were getting it to turn on, I guess, right? Because now we're not getting it to turn on, but it's probably because it's dead. Oh, do we have smells? Oh yeah, we should check for smells. Yep. I don't smell anything like active on there. Sometimes you'll smell the arc or the electrical impulse here. The bottom's coming off very easy. Have you opened this thing before? Because this shouldn't come off this easy. And the bottom is off. Take a quick look around. Main battery here, Dell OEM. There's the serial number. We got 2 NVMe slots. They're both populated. 2 DDR5 modules. I wonder what these are worth. Anything else? You can actually just sell those. What? The CPU and GPU are hot right now. They're hot. This thing, is it on? So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to unplug the battery. You could tell that this stuff is on right now. So I don't know. That's pretty crazy. So that's on. There's the fans. It actually looks pretty clean. Now this machine, I was telling you, Jeff, about this earlier. I called him because I was actually working on a different 9530, and then I thought it was his, and then we kind of it was a totally different one. But on this machine, this does not have adequate cooling for this 4060 or 4070, I think you have. And it just has this one little metal with a little rubber or this little foam pad that presses down on the 3 MOSFETs that power the GPU, and then there's nothing over these coils. So the Dell logo came on. Oh, thank you. I did not see that when I was closing the lid. Okay, I'll check that in a second. I'll plug that back in. Yeah, so anyway, this is the area where it always overheats, so I end up adding a new cooling pad here that actually touches the bottom and keeps this stuff cool. And and then right here is where it always melts on this machine. So I'm going to add some extra cooling for you in the future in case there's any issues. Okay, so you said that you sell the Dell logo. So with the battery plugged in, let's see if we can get this thing to come on again. Power button. Yeah, it's a bad design for the heatsink. And I don't think they've had an issue. There's our power button light. Okay, perfect. We are seeing a screen. But the issue is that I think it's on the 4070 that actually is the issue. This is a 4060, so I don't think it's going to have the overheating, but I think it's all the 4070s. This thing is just not adequate to actually keep it cool on a 4070. It has picture, but it's on battery. We still have to fix the PD controller on this side. I'm pretty sure that's what our issue is. I'm going to let it go through a little CMOS reset. I'm glad everyone saw that. I didn't see it because that happens to me all the time, especially when I'm in post-editing of my videos where I've done a repair and then I'm like, it's right there. What are you talking about? And I keep seeing it, but nobody else is. I mean, I'm not seeing it at the time, so I don't hear the fans. It will take a second for the fans are actually on. It's just they're spinning kind of slow. We'll up our brightness a little bit. Is that bright? Do you guys like it this bright, or I usually keep it at lower exposure? So I think I usually keep it at like this, but you know, I could keep it as bright as you want. I mean, that's 1000 ISO. I just upped the ISO. Does that look clearer to you? I don't know. I generally like things a little bit darker and a little bit more like smooth. It's nice looking. Fans are blowing pretty good. Brightness is good. Brightness is great. What I just don't like is sometimes the brightness ends up blowing out the laptop. So like right here, you see how it's all blown out now? So that's why I'm always looking at, because it's like, oh great. But I don't want to put it on auto brightness, because when you do that, then you're constantly having it fade in and out and fade it in and out. You buffered. I didn't buffer. You buffered. I was fine. Everything was fine on my side. Okay, so it went through that. So we're almost through our CMOS reset. I'm just kind of killing time until we get through our CMOS reset. This thing doesn't feel too hot at all. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to go into our BIOS. You guys like it that bright, huh? You like it brighter. Oh. Oh, I just happened to put my finger over there. This hurts. Oh, it's on fire. It's hot. Oh, oh Lord. Look at this. Look at this. So here the machine's on, it's hot, but I happen to put my finger right here. That's the PD controller chip. It just burned my finger like whatever, I don't know what to compare it to, but it burned it. And it says 78, I think is what that's saying. Is that saying 78 something? 79, 80? So it's saying about 80C. Is that hot? Do you think 80C is pretty hot? So it hasn't shut down yet. It's still on. Now, maybe if we went into like the operating system, it might shut down. I'm going to boot into diagnostics. What's 79C? That's like 112? No, 45 or 50 or something is 112. So 79C would be like 180 or something, right? So booting the diagnostics. Burn your finger like it's in the reflow you want. Oh gosh, that thing is hot. I don't know why I keep putting my thumb on it. It's like I want to feel it. Burned your finger like it reflowed, wand. 176. Okay, so it's getting up to 176 degrees, 174, whatever it takes. And it's not shutting off. So I don't know when it was shutting off. Where are you at, Jeff? So was it getting in the windows and shutting off, or was it not even able to stay on this long? Oh man, this is hot. I need to just take this board out, and we need to change this part out. Perhaps it will turn off if it's that hot. Yeah, it hasn't turned off yet, but it's getting hotter and hotter. I'm just going to turn this thing off. But it's running just fine. So at least we know the system's working, so we don't have an issue on the main part of the board. We don't have an issue with the chipset. GPU seems to be working fine so far, that I can tell. And so I'm going to take the motherboard out, and then we can actually change out that chip because it's probably shorted. So you know the routine. Now you get to watch me spin some screwdrivers. Yay! I'm going to put some music on because sometimes I just keep hearing my voice the whole time. Okay. Yeah, and I think I do have some new chips, so hopefully. If not, I just take it off a donor board. And when I take them off donor boards, the chips are brand new, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Brand new chips off of donor boards. It shuts off after booting the Windows. Okay. So we will know later then. Now, because the question is, I could make it do it right now. This is my brother's music. He has a new track that he just put on his SoundCloud. So it's pretty interesting. I haven't heard it yet, actually. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. He, because his guitar, he does all the digital music and does all the stuff to it, but he plays like 20 instruments or something crazy like that. So he's always making some sort of music. But yeah, y'all can check that out if you want. All right, I'm going to keep unscrewing here. Let's see. Probably Windows 11. Yeah, Windows 11 is the problem. I'm actually so tired of Windows 11. At first I was kind of like, oh, it's fine, whatever. It's just another version of Windows 10, like reskinned pretty much. But it's like, dude, they keep bloating it more, and Copilot is, trash, and why are they putting that on every single page? And it's pretty bad. So I'm like having to de-bloat it and run different things. Yeah, it's my twin brother. I have a twin brother. So this is his music. Muzak. 11 sucks. That's why I run Linux at home, but I can't run Linux on this stupid computer. It drives me crazy. I have it set up on a different drive so I can dual boot to it, and then I kind of slowly just trying to chip away at all the different programs I need to get working. So eventually I'll get them all working, and then I can just switch over to Linux on this computer. But there's just these different programs I'm using that I have to run through Wine, and they're just not working right. Copilot apps pop up on the desktop, and I just saw a video that you can disable them, but you have to run like all these weird commands and stuff. You should look up on Copilot how to disable Copilot. That was a pretty funny video. I saw somebody trying to get Copilot to tell it how to disable itself. Nice music. Thanks, Darren. Yeah, this is the new track you just added this week. All right, so I'm unplugging your SSDs, and so the way I like to keep track of them, I've said this before, this is SSD number 1, and so what I do is I just put a dot on the back of your SSD right here, 1 dot, and that goes in the SSD number 1. And I'll do the same for this one. And this one I'll put 2 dots. 2 dots. Okay, where are we at? I think we got it all. Just down to the final screen connections here. Always run the debloat scripts on Windows 11. I use the Chris Titus Tech, if you guys follow him on YouTube. The CTT, he has a script that's community sourced. WinBloat, don't use Wine. A WinBoat? There's a WinBoat? Is that kind of like bottles? I mean, because you have to use Wine. I think Wine would be behind any of that stuff. I don't think there is any other developer development that's doing Windows apps. That's weird. These screws are not even tight. Jeff, these screws are not even tight. Did you take this board out before? I mean, they're like not even seated in there all the way. That's weird. Wind boat is a Docker container. Oh, interesting. So it's actually a native Windows Docker container that you can just, you're like sending the apps off to actually be executed there. Does it spin up a different Docker container for every app? Is that kind of how that works? I tore it down completely. Okay, so that makes sense. Yeah, those screws were like still up a little bit. What was I doing? Oh, that's right. We're just trying to get over here. Like, why did I take this board out? I got sidetracked. And crap pilot. I saw some percentage, like Copilot usage is like 0.5 or something, or 1% of total AI usage. But yet they, you know, are putting it on every Windows application or every Windows install, Windows everything, you know. All right, so here's our PD controller chip. It's going to be located right here. So this is the CYPD 6228-9 6BZX1. Oh gosh, come on. Change views. Let's try that again. Round 2. All right. All right, so here's our PD controller chip. It's going to be the CYPD 6228-9 6BZXI. Yes, you need all that information. So if you think that you could just start out and just get the starting of that and that's good enough, no, you can't. This is the BGA chip, so it's going to be a ball grid array. It's installed with the balls underneath. So we need this exact chip, and I don't know. I can't remember if these are programmed or not. I do not know. So in general, let me just see if I have a donor board, and we'll just take it off of that because I think that's going to be the easiest, bestest solution. 9530, right? I don't have very many 9530s, I don't think. Here's a 9530, brand new 9530 right here, and it has a brand new PD controller chip, a CYPD 62289-6BZI. There you go. So you're getting nothing but the best, man. The YAR 9530. Yeah, the 9530 is a 2023 model. Hence the 30. It actually kind of tells you the year. And it also points to what CPU you have usually. It's going to be a 13th gen, 12th gen, or 13th gen. All right, so here's our donor chip. Now we can put this in an orientation where we're not going to worry about melting this connector. Now I don't necessarily care about that, but what we're going to do is just if we aim it where the air kind of blows this way, then we're not going to worry about damaging that chip. And so if we pull this off in just the right way, look at that polarizer, look at that. If we pull it off in just the right way, then we don't have to reball the chip. So we will try to do that first. And all we do is just pull straight up. Straight up when it's hot. So let's use, we're going to use NF Flux White. All right, you guys want to see what the old NF Flux White is all about? This stuff right here, I had to put this label on here because it comes in a mystery vial with no labeling on it. So I have a label maker and I labeled it myself because why put a label on your own flux that you're shipping out? But here it is. It's not bad. It's runny. It's really loose. It's very adequate. So, what caused the short? I would say that he used the Anchor charger. That wasn't a Dell charger. That's what I would say caused it. So we're going to use 450 degrees C at 60% air, but I'm just going to kind of preheat the area a lot first. I remember correctly, do you have to program this PD controller on this model? I can't remember. That's why I don't know. But if you remember correctly. So do I have some of these? If I have some, I can put one on there and then we can see if it doesn't work. Or I could just take this one that's the same board and just move it over. Do we want to go easy or hard? Not the anchor. Oh, you're saying it wasn't the anchor that did it? It was the inline power meter. Oh, now I'm picking up what you're setting down. Okay, so something, but whatever the case, something shorted out to something else. All right, so I have the board nice and hot. I'm going to put a little flux under here. So now it's flooded underneath there. Now, does this stuff smell like lotion? I know that's your next question. The other NF Flux stuff smelled like lotion. This does not smell like lotion, nor does it smell good, but it doesn't smell bad. All right, so the chip is nice and movie, so I'm going to let it cool off just for a moment. And then I'm going to put my tweezers on it once it stops. It's cooled off. Okay, it's cooled, so I'm going to put my tweezers right here. I'm going to reheat it, and I'm just going to grab it. We're going to try to lift it straight up. Now, if we have to reball this, it's not the end of the world, but I'd rather not have to do that. Okay, 3, 2, 1, lift straight up. Did we do good? I would say we didn't do good. I kind of pulled it off to the side, and you can see that some of these balls are bigger than the others. Some of these balls are bigger than the others. And when you have mismatching balls, you might have an issue. So, do you see my inadequate sized balls? If I can get focused right. Can't. Let me focus on the screen for you because I can't focus in here. What's going on here? There we go. So, you see those big fatties on there? Those fatties are no good. We don't want fatties. We want all the same. We want all the same, all right? So, but that's gonna be our good chip. We're gonna have to reball that chip. And if we would have done good, we would have just lifted it straight up and then everything would have been equal. So, our bad. It's just called more work. All right, let's take his board off. Those balls are bigger than the other. All right, so this board, we want to be careful because we don't want to melt that, right? So to do the right thing, we'll probably just put a piece of tape over, Kapton tape over that too. We're still going to blow away. Now, if you notice on our other board, we didn't damage that at all because we are badass. But we need to be a little bit careful. So, because it's a customer's board, it's Jeff's board. And it's totally not snake oil board. And we don't want to mess it up. 4.5mm power connectors are fragile as S. I don't know. I think all power connectors are fragile if you're rough with them. I've never broken a DC jack in my life. Not even a USB port. Ever. Or a screen or anything. The only maintenance I've ever had to do to a laptop is change the battery out to my own laptop, ever. I don't know if that's crazy or what, but. Okay, all right, we're gonna, so let me mark this guy with a magic marker. Because if I ever find that chip later and be like, look, we have a brand new chip right here. We don't want that chip, right? AC to DC. Oh, forgot my air. Did you get a lot better when you were drinking bourbon? Do you guys think I'm better or worse right now? So it's been 2 weeks without sugar or alcohol, and I've been exercising every single day, riding a bike for at least 6 miles every single day. Do I seem different? Do I seem better? No sugar, no alcohol, and exercise. Jeff, you failed your PC. You're fired. Everything is fragile. All right, chip is moving. We're gonna lift it straight up. Boom. That's what it was supposed to look like. I don't know why we failed the first time, but that time was like just so precise. Let's see, do we have any fatties? Nope. They're all the same. This is what it was supposed to look like. Nope. I'm the same old dude, huh? The same old dude. All right, so we have our new chip, but we're gonna have to ball this because we need to get rid of those fatties. All right, I'm gonna put this off to the side. Let's get our ball on. Let's get balling. I have a CPU here I was gonna reball. Let's reball that later. We don't need a reball right this second. Oh, this is a 6th gen processor, 6th gen i7 that I have to put on this other motherboard. And I doubt it will work, but you got to give it the old college try. All right, let's see if we can get this mounted on here. Practice makes perfect. All right, so I'm just gonna clean off all this junk that's on here with this NF white. I mean, it's pretty nice and clear and smooth and just a happy little flux. The best flux that's ever existed has just got better. 4.5 millimeters stupid, 7.4 is fine. And they're talking about DC jacks, by the way, if anyone is wondering. Oh, I forgot to put fresh solder in here. So right now there's going to be unleaded solder on this, so we're going to add leaded solder that will lower the melting point on all these. And then we're going to wick that off of here to get it nice and clear. And then we're going to add fresh solder onto there. Okay, try to get as clear as possible. Doesn't have to be perfect, but okay. Twitch is down. I see Twitch moving on my side. I have a Twitch window up right here. I can see it, so. And it says Twitch is down on the Twitch stream. If you're in Twitch, say hi. Everyone in chat right now, go 3, 2, 1. It's working. Oh, that's funny. It's just going to get user interaction. That's perfect, though. Everyone in Twitch is going to say hi and see, like, and now the numbers are going to go up. Number go up. Okay, so there's our chip, and then we need a stencil. Let's find the stencil. Shoot. Let's see. We're gonna use one of these guys. Use that and that. And sorry, I have to dig up the stencils. There's stacks of this stuff around everywhere. So I guess the problem with reballing stuff is you're always having to like find another stencil, another stencil, another stencil, another stencil, because every chip's different. Chicka chicka boom boom. All right, so in this bag, I always put the stencils that have worked for me in the past, and so that's why I have it in this bag. And hopefully one of these are going to be the correct one. And then I have it set up where this is a magnet. I can put this rubber pad here, I can put the chip on here, and then this will like get magneted to it, and then I can put the solder paste through that. So, but first we need to find one that the stencil fits, or a stencil that fits this chip pattern. Everyone saw a hard drive error message here at the end. What's going on here? Is this dirty? What is that? Can't tell what that is. Okay, I think it's okay. I think it might just be solder mask or something. I don't know. All right, we're gonna try to find one that fits here. Look at that one, fits right there. It's kind of big. Let's see if we can find a smaller one that fits. Something not so big. All right. This one, oh, I'll go. Is this one gonna work? Sucks, like they're so close. All of them are so close. Like that one's not gonna work. So I wrote down a lot of these. Sorry, this is kind of boring, but I will find it. Give me a second. And then when I find it, I should write down what it is. That's what I should do. This one looks... That looks acceptable. What do you think? Looks pretty... Yeah. Yeah. I think we're good with that one. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go with that. That one looks pretty good. It's kind of big, but you really can't... Beggars can't be choosers. All right, so we're going to put this guy here. And so again, this is a magnet, super magnet. We're going to put the chip right on top of this rubber buffer thing. I need to put a little bit of flux on here. Not that much. Just a little bit. Okay. That, and then we're going to use the magnet to hold this in place, but we're going to line it up right. And I'll probably just pick this corner right here. Like that. There we go. That corner looks dirty. Let me do this corner. There we go. All right, so now we're going to use a little bit of solder paste. And I just keep the lid open now all the time. Just let it just keep drying out because you want it to be drier and drier and drier and drier. Send it, send it, send it. All right, so I have this little spatula. It's non-magnetic, so it's not going to mess with it. And then we're just going to rub in this nice pretty stuff here. And I'm going to try not to get too much over the edges. Otherwise I have to deal with it going everywhere. And then we're going to do it another direction. And see how these holes didn't get filled in all the way? So we're going to come back over those. I want to make sure they're perfectly packed. I'm going to add a little bit more. Okay. God, I feel like some of it's not getting all the way in there. All right, that looks pretty good. All right, so I usually use my finger now to wipe it off because I just need to have the excess off of here, but I don't want to have any like stuff coming off of my film from the towels and stuff. Now you can see some of these look like they're almost not filled in properly, but I think those are the spots that don't actually have anything on there. So we're gonna go with this. We're gonna send it. See how it works. All right, so I'm gonna do, let's do 250 degrees C, and then we'll do like 15% air, so not very much. Not much air. And we should use Arctic Silver too. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of preheat the area. I don't need to hold this down, which is nice because of the magnet. And I'm gonna say that and it's gonna like pop up. It's gonna be funny. But normal operation is you have to hold it down. So I'm gonna try to melt this evenly. Oh, some of those holes kind of look a little suspicious. Okay, here we go. So now we're gonna send it all the way home. All right, there they go. There they go. Okay, and then now that they're all melted, we want to kind of give it a little bit extra time just to make sure they're all really good and sat in there. And then we'll let it cool off. These small chips are so easy. That's why, like, whenever you see people do it, you're like, oh, that looks pretty easy. But when you try to do a really big chip, it's a pain. All right, now that's a little bit warm, but I want to make sure that the solder has dried or cooled enough. But we want to not make it all the way cool because we want to be able to take this off. So I'm going to lift one side, then I'm going to lift the other side. And there we go. Got it off. And then, see there's going to be some extra balls in there. And I'm going to take my toothbrush and I'm just going to brush that off and see if I can get those extra balls out of there. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't want to come off with a toothbrush, so I have to use my tweezers. So these are balls that don't have pads. They're just kind of like, because I use a universal stencil. There we go. Okay, that looks good. And so the last thing I want to do is I'm going to reflow it one more time. And so I'm going to put some flux on here and just reheat it again, and then I will seed all of this, the final amount. I don't know why it's not focusing very well. It seems weird, but maybe my eyes are off. Am I missing anything? Making noodles. Nightmare to hold down. With the magnet, it was nice. Right here, I'm having to hold it down myself. But all I'm going to do is just reflow these to make them all nice and centered. They do already look pretty good. And again, I have low temperature, low airspeed. And you'll see them all just kind of melt. There they go. There we go. Nice and new. Brand new chip. I told you it's going to be brand new. There we go. Okay. Thought this was dry January. Yeah, it was very dry January. Okay, so I'm going to put these away, my stencils away. And this is the stencil I used just now, right? Is this the one I used? Shoot, I don't know. I think it was. Yes. Okay, so I need to write on this. So I know what I'm doing. Okay, we're going to do PD. I'm just going to say PD. We'll actually do CYPD. That way I just kind of know that's a PD controller chip was on that corner. All right. Save me some time next time. Capiche? Capiche. Clean up all this stuff. Okay, are we ready? I don't need to mark pin 1 because all the pin 1s are already marked on Dell boards. The best thing I've ever seen. And then the board's right there. So the only concern I have with this brand new chip is that we have kind of a weird little discoloration in the corner on this side, that right next to pin 1. There's something weird right there, but I think it's fine. I don't see a concern with that, so that's the only thing I see suspicious. So here's our pin 1 on the board itself. So we need to line up pin 1 there, which is going to be, I believe, that orientation. You can see the pin 1 mark right there. So that's the way it's going to go, but we still have to take all this solder off the board too, because we need to have nothing on there. For a second, look like a bridge on the right. Are we talking about next to that pin 1? Oh, gosh. Or are we talking about on the board? I have to take all that stuff off the board. It's dust non-conductive. Yeah, so it might just be like when I was cleaning it or whatever. Whatevers. So many gadgets. Yeah, you have to collect these gadgets over the years in order to get all this stuff. I mean, The fact that I have 5 cameras around me is crazy, right? Or 6 cameras. I just keep adding cameras because I think it's good to have more views. Sorry, I need to see it brighter. The reflections are better than nothing. All right, so what I don't want to do is pull the solder mask off of this. So I'm going to try to be careful. In general, I could actually just leave it like this because that's actually not too much solder. So I think that's what I might do. Because if I start trying to pull all this stuff off of here, I'm going to end up messing up the solder mask. So I'm going to leave it like that. Because it is flat, pretty flat. They're all even, and that's all we're looking for. Okay. So that's fine with me. So we'll just get that stuff on there like that. You're just here for the balls. Balls. I'm here for the balls. All right, so we're gonna line that up. We're gonna line these up in the corners. I'll turn down the brightness for you again. So we're gonna do, these 2 corners are gonna be our positions. And the main goal right now is to make it where it doesn't move or blow away. So what I'd like to do is I like to apply pressure down on the board with my tweezers. So I'm pressing down on the board and then just barely kind of guide the chip to be in the right spot. And then that's keeps it from blowing away. And we're gonna do kind of a higher heat, 450. And I'm gonna slowly heat the board, but I'm not pressing the chip down, I'm just trying to keep the chip from blowing away. All right, heating it up, heating it up. All right, so now we're gonna give it a little bit of direct heat. All right, now I'm gonna move away and then let it cool for a second. Now I move my tweezers and the chip is stuck. And that's what we're looking for. So once it's stuck, we'll add a little bit more flux and then we'll do our final heating. So now we're gonna heat it up all the way and let it float. So there you go. Did you see it just seat itself just now? So now it's seated, and then now we can tap it like that, and it's done. That's it. Oh, there we go. We got that PD controller installed, man. Man. Okay. Oh, but I'm gonna need to take a break in a second because I'm getting kind of tired of looking through the camera and hunching over the microscope. So let me try to clean up some of this stuff here. So if this board turns on, we'll take a break. Clean up this mess here. Always clean up after yourself, guys. I know you're excited to see if it turns on, but while the board's hot, just clean it up. Just clean it up, man. And so here's how you clean it up. You take a toothbrush from Daryl. You can ask Daryl Flores, and he'll send you 30 toothbrushes. And take some alcohol, rub, rub, rub. Take a Kim pad, set it on top, rub through it, and then I'll just keep moving the Kim pad so it picks up all the trash that's on there. There we go. Nice and clean. All right, and then you clean up after yourself. You put all your stuff away. This goes here, that goes there, that goes there. Toothbrushes go back over here. Throw away all these Q-tips that always pile up everywhere. You always save your Kapton tape pieces because you know that stuff costs a lot of money. And there we go. Put my mark. Okay, is it gonna turn on? That is the question. All right, did we vote for it? We don't have time for a vote. But is it gonna work? Okay, so we're gonna plug this in. It's either gonna work or it's not gonna work. You ready? Do we want a poll? We should have done a poll earlier while I was working on it. That would have been better. Yes, it will work. No, it will work. Just put 1 in the chat if you think it will work and 2 in the chat if you think it won't work. How's that? So I want to see a lot of 1s, but if you think it's not gonna work, then put those 2s. Let the 2s fly. Okay, we do have a poll that came up. So y'all can hit the poll real quick since it's already up. So Twitch, hit your poll button. The tube, YouTube, do you push the button? Le button. Of course, there's some haters out there. All right, 2 people. Got some people. All right, a lot of ones though. I like it. Wacky says no. Oh, Craigie says 42. I'm surprised no one did 6-7. 6-7. It could go either way. All right, and then now someone's putting a number 3 in there. Okay. All right, so most people are saying it. So I'm going to go ahead and press the plug it in. You guys just keep an eye on the power meter right here. We should see it power right on. 20 volts, 1.4 to 0.2, and then it should start pulling some amps and then shut back off because this is a 9350. You need a battery. So you see I pulled 1.2 amps and then it shut off. This thing will not start without a battery plugged in. So it's just going to keep doing that cycle over and over again. Do that, boom, and then it'll go right back down. So it is turning on, but let me plug a battery into it and we will see it really fire up. So whoever voted you think it's going to work, I think you are correct. I think you are very correct. Jeff, I think you're missing a screw over here, buddy. When you put this thing back together, this daughter board's missing a screw. I'll do you a solid. I'll put you one in there. Here, I'll take it one of these and I'll just put it in the right spot. Because I was like, I did not take that screw out, but this little board's falling out. Okay. That screw goes there. Okay. Plug these in. Yes, I've taken this board out 1,000 times, so I know where every screw is, and I know what screw it is, where it goes. 1,000 times is being pretty literal. You guys voting still? 19 votes on the old Twitchy. Let me put one more in so the battery doesn't fly out. Okay, so we have enough stuff screwed in. We got RAM in there still. We don't have an SSD in there, but I'm going to plug the old battery in now. And we will plug this in. Okay, let her rip. We got ones and zeros, ones and zeros. And we have picture. Now you see how the meter went up to 20 and then shut off and then came back on? That's the MO of a 9530. That's what it does every single time. So if it doesn't have a battery in here, it actually will go up to that 20 volts, shut off, and then it will kind of do a boot loop. But if the battery's on, then the battery keeps the machine on and then it goes to the next phase of starting up. And so we do have 4 amps going or coming out of the charger, so we're just charging the battery kind of at the same time while it's starting this thing up. If the diodes are okay, we're gonna flip it. So that's a good point. So Rogue says that we need to check to make sure that all the diodes are good on all the ports. Because remember we talked about the CC1 lines going down low. So if we look now, we have the CC1 lines at 1.67. That's what we want it to be on all 3 ports. So we have 6 combinations. We have one side up, one side down on 3 different ports. So we're gonna check those in a second. Let's go ahead and end this poll because we don't really need it because it is working. And I saved another laptop. Are there any hot chips besides Ponzarelli? Old Ponzarelli. You guys don't even know what I'm talking about. It's fine. It's cool. So here's the board. And PD controller is warm, but if I put my finger on it, it's not Arctic, or not Arctic, whatever, blazing. It's not blazing saddles. But here's where I says get really, really hot. Where I says, and it doesn't feel that hot, but these things will get so hot it will melt your fingers, and then it will actually melt the solder that holds those chips in place. So we're going to put a special cooling pad there. We need 1,000 viewers, yes. What we need is, on Twitch, we need to stay above 75, because we keep going below 75, and we need to watch out on that. All right, so this, I'm just waiting for this thing to get through the CMOS reset. There we go, got that. So now it should turn on and get into the BIOS. And we're gonna actually boot into the diagnostics. And then we'll do our test. Diagnostics. See, now the screen's too blown out because you see how it's bright and I have the camera so bright. Oh, it's testing the CPU fans and I don't even have CPU fans hooked up. Uh-oh, quick, let me shut this off. Amateur move, guys. It's getting hot. All right. Start over. Okay. Amateur move. I did get excited. You know how I said don't get excited? I got excited. I jumped the gun. You on Twitchy too? Yes, I am. We are streaming on Twitch right now. You know what? I take this back. You weren't missing the screw. Maybe I took this other screw out, not thinking correctly, because that screw doesn't go there. It goes over here. Giving Jeff a hard time, and I put the screw in the wrong place, even though I just said, I know everything about this machine. I'm the best. Blah, blah, blah. All right, let's try this again. Blinded by the light. All right, so I'm going to turn down the brightness here, or the ISO, so we can actually get a picture. We'll go back to our 640 ISO. We have picture, I can't believe. Hola, from Twitch. Old Gritty Grid. How you doing, Gritty? Gritty's working on another power box. He's doing a different version of my power box. And so I sent him the files today. So he's gonna play around with that. Oh, it's allowed. Saving laptops is exciting. That's right. I got my Saved Another Laptop shirt on too. Save another laptop. We have a picture I can't believe. I have a Soren emote. You guys can put the Soren emote down. I put sunglasses on him. He says, we have picture. I just took like a still of him like out of a one of his videos. Because it's the balls, man. It's the balls. Can you do a little bit of a stress test? Yeah, sure. We'll do a stress test. Yeah, we're gonna boot into the diags first, and we need to make sure that all of the... Ooh, where'd Jeff go? I know he was going to dinner with his wife, but I thought that was earlier. Jeff, are you here still? He's like, I have to go. He's like, honey, I'm stuck on the stream. Dave, I thought you had to leave early tonight. You're not feeling good, right? DIY Dave? Who we're speaking of Soren. Yeah, so this he's a Romanian or from Transylvania. So he does a lot of these repair videos similar to me. He has a kind of a thicker accent. And Electronic Repair School is his YouTube channel, and so he has a lot of funny things because he's speaking in a foreign accent, and so we have picture. He says things like that. It's just the way he is just funny. So we use a lot of quotes. So a lot of these people who are watching my videos are watching his videos too. Electronic Repair School, check it out. Super like down to earth, very cool guy. He really loves to teach people. So. The MOSFETs buy. What? Wait. What's going on? Gritty just got me some bits. Thanks, Gritty. Does the BIOS program chip you changed out? Wait, does the BIOS program that you... Hold on. What is Willie saying here? Any hot chips? That was a chip you changed out. Well, this is a different machine altogether, so we'll have to kind of clarify. No hard drive installed. I'm going to let it keep scanning. See how bright the screen is? I'm just going to dull this down here. What I want to do first is we're just going to make sure that all of our USB-C ports are working. Zoom it, man. Oh, okay, so we have a skin sensor error. So you see the skin sensor error? says 0C. So that is because I don't have a ribbon cable on this little daughter board that's off to the sides. It's over here. I'm like pointing over here, but you can't see it. So it's over here, and we'll put that on in a second and we'll fix that. No big deal. And then the SSD is not there because it's not installed. So let's come down here. I just want to make sure that all of our USB-C ports are working. Sure it's hard to see what I'm doing. Okay, so here's what I want to look at. This looks so hard to see for me, but okay, there we go. All right, so charging current going in, says charging state, and then we're looking over here, right, on the meter. All right, so I'm going to unplug the USB. I'm going to flip it over and plug it back into that same port. We want to make sure it works on that side. And so 20 volts, and it says 1.8 volts on the CC line. It's changing the charging. Oops, sorry, let it focus. And it goes to idle, and then it should go and start pulling current. There we go, 300 milliamps. So we're going to do that for all the ports to make sure everything is good. So I'm going to go to the next port. The next port, 20 volts, 5 amps. There we go, pulling and switching to idle. And then it negotiates and it should start charging. Come on, take a second to start charging. There we go. And then we're going to flip it over. So that's what I do on every system, by the way, is I'm making sure that all the ports work in both directions. And that just helps you, fix any issues. Sometimes you have a diode that's out, or sometimes you have the actual port that's messed up. You just need to change it out. Soren says no cap, no short. He also says we'll replace that cap on a different video, because he's like, there's so many caps and capacitors inside of machines that you don't need to replace them for the most part, is what he says. So I always replace them anyway. So that port's good. And this one we already tested earlier that they work in both directions, but discharging, charging, come on. Focus. Over here. All right. Okay, we're good. So we got all that stuff done. Let's look at these temperatures. So the temperature's at 96 degrees right now, and which is pretty hot. Let's see some of the other temperatures. Oh, sorry, touch screen. There we go. 60 degrees C. The GPU is at 69. All right, so I'm going to turn this thing off now. Now, you guys mentioned you want to do stress tests. I don't know if we want to boot into Windows to do a stress test, but what I want to show you, again, is that this thing overheats right here. So let me grab one of the pads that I usually put on these, and we can do that. Do you want me to re-thermal paste this, or have you done that recently? Jeff, is Jeff still here? Did we figure out if he's gone or not? What was his name? Shimit. Yeah, so let me at least grab the pad right now. I'll go grab it and then I'll show you. I could thermal paste it later, or we can just pull it off and do it. Oh man, I'm getting tired. Getting tired. So I have trays of these, and I don't even know what they are for, but I got them in on some shipment. So this is the pad. It's a thick, fatty hattie. I don't even know how many mils this is, but it's pretty thick. It's square. It looks like it almost goes on a 2280 or 2230, excuse me, 2230 SSD. One side has a kind of a thicker plastic, and one side has a thinner plastic. And let's see if the thicker side's. So the thicker side's really sticky, like that. And so I usually just take that and I stick it right here. So this little piece of metal is like a suggestion to cool off the MOSFETs, and then these start getting hot. So I just stick that right there, like that. And then whenever you put the bottom cover on, it actually mashes that down. And that does two things. It actually helps apply contact, and then it starts cooling from the bottom of the laptop itself. So, and then I haven't seen any issues with these because of that. So, how many millimeters? I can get my calipers. I can measure it for you. How many mills you got? What mills you working with? I'll grab another one. Now I have trays and trays of these, so I could probably list them on my website. I just don't, I've never had anybody ask for them. Maybe I even have them listed. I have no idea. All right, so this is so it's a 20 mil by 20 mil by 4.5 mil, or wait, 6, wait, hold on, 5. So 5 mil thick, 20 by 20. And it can mash pretty good if you squeeze it. So, you know, it really contours to it. So, and it really transfers heat. I mean, this thing starts getting hot. So whenever you have it on the bottom of the laptop, it really starts transferring the heat to it. So yeah, let me check and see if I even have these. I might have them on my website. Oh, I do have them listed. And it's funny because it says they're out of stock and I have a tray of them. So yeah, I'll add them to stock and I'll put a link here for them. That's funny. Sometimes it's like that. I get so much stuff in and I just, you know, it's hard to keep track of what we are selling or what people buy or whatever. Yeah, it looks like we put in 60 of them and then they all sold out. And then, so I'll add in another, I don't know, 40 or something. Let's see. There we go. All right, so we have of those in stock. Copy, and then I'll give you the link. So here's the link to them if you're wanting to take a look at it, at least. Okay, so that's done. Thermal pad. Yes, it's a thermal pad. Okay, what am I doing now? I don't know. This thing's done pretty much. We're gonna. Did we want to thermal paste this? What were we talking about? Is that what we were talking about? Thermal paste? Oh, there he is. Hey Jeff, did you want me to re-thermal paste this? Totally not Snake. Do you want me to thermal paste this? Interested in pulling the heat away when blanket holds it in. Yeah, this is mainly just to pull the heat through to the actual bottom. Yes, man, it's faulty, I would say. Recheck the stock, because I don't know if he changed this out already. Getting information relayed via other viewers. Oh. Have you plugged in the daughter board? Oh, yeah, we can plug the daughter board back in. So this board right here is what I was talking about with the skin sensor, and so you have to put this bracket on here. Here, I can just put this back together, and then we won't have that error anymore. We can boot the Windows, because I guess you were having a thermal error in Windows, so let's do that. That's true. Stress test, yes. Okay, now I'm back on board. My brain is now functioning all over again properly. He wants my signature. I've done it. There's people who had me sign the inside of their laptop, inside this door, or they've also had me sign their palm rest before. So if you want me to do that, I can. My Bob Ross signature. All right, so this little daughter board goes to the skin sensor. I don't even know what sensor is over there. I don't know what kind of skin they're measuring. He said early paste away, wait. You need coffee. I know, but I got my coffee at like 1 o'clock and I drank it already, and then, yeah, you can tell I'm slowing down, can't you? Like, okay. All right, let me go back in here and see. I can't play stream. Went to dinner with my wife. Okay, I got it. That's now I'm picking up what you're setting down. Oh, I've been there so many times. Okay, we're gonna do a stress test. We're gonna boot. Does he have a password? I have his password, but I'm just gonna use one of my, well, I guess I should use his hard drives. You have PTM. Should put PTM on there. I want to see, before I re-thermal paste this, I actually want to see if it works with his stock stuff, and then we'll change it afterwards, if that makes sense. Because he said it wasn't working, and or it was overheating or whatever it was. So plug the battery. Put my thumbprint somewhere. Sounds dangerous. Although my thumbprint's right here, probably. Look at that. What's going on with this? There we go. Slowing down. I'm crashing, man. I'm crashing. A happy little PTM pad. What the heck is going on here, man? Repaste with. Oh, I can't find the screw. Where's the screw at? I know I need coffee. I need coffee. Okay, got that one. So I'm assuming the SSD is number 1 is the install one, so we'll see. Repaste it. Someone's trying to slip in some politics in there. We don't need politics where we're going here. All right, so we're gonna boot this up. I need some sugar. You know, do I have anything I can have? I don't have anything right now. Oh, maybe I need to do some jumping jacks. Slowing down. Now I need to turn in the Ben Stein. Again, dry eyes must be clear eyes. Yeah, I've been here for 12.5 hours now. That's when I start slowing down. But normally I get here at like 7:30 in the morning. I got here at like 8:15. So I got a little extra time. But I mean, I've been up since 5:40 because I had to do my bike ride in the morning and then take the kids to school and then take my other kids to school and then do work and do all this stuff. So, and no candy. Can't have any candy. You know what my candy of choice has been lately anyway is the Wallabies licorice, the little licorice pieces. Have y'all had that before? Oh, they're so good. I'll buy a bag and just like knock through it just real fast. Just got an email that your system had shipped and will be delivered Saturday. Nice. Fast shipping. Good job, Montgomery. All right, fans are spinning up. Dry eyes. Clear eyes. You love those licorice? Those are so good. The Wallaby licorice. Oh. And they even have black licorice too, which I really like. Saltwater taffy is so good too. Trader Joe's has some really good saltwater taffies. What else do I like? I like a lot of sour candy stuff, but I try to not eat as much of that because it's really bad for your teeth. Skittles, those are addictive. The sour Skittles, I really like those for a long time. Those are extra bad for your heart. Oh, and you know what else? These are really bad. These are really bad. The clusters, what are the nerd cluster thingies? Why are you pushing the PCH? I wasn't pushing it. I was pushing this. The PCH is actually on the CPU on this one. Why you push that PCH, man? All right, so we're just going to boot into that Windows operating system he has. Maybe I can just dim the screen and that will make it show up better without me having to turn down the camera. There we go. I just dimmed the screen. Is that better? Skittles are good. Saltwater taffy, no buying anymore. Costco bags don't last. Exactly. Yeah, because when I go buy the Wallabies licorice, I buy 2 bags. And I'm like, okay, that's like, what, 4 days worth, hopefully? Because what happens, like on these stream nights, this is how it was. This is my coffee. I finished my coffee around 10. And so then I end up going to work, or going home, and I'm just wired. And so everybody goes to bed. I pour myself a bourbon, and then I get a pack of candy, and I stay up to like 1 in the morning. And then I still have to wake up at like 5:40 in the morning. So I'm completely, and sometimes I'll have a cigar even that night. So I'll have a cigar with licorice and bourbon. They're like crack. They're like crack. They totally are. You 3D printed a large nerd guy. Oh, really? Wait, so did anyone like those nerd clusters? Because nerds have been like stupid forever, and then they started putting them around a gummy, and then all of a sudden they're like awesome now? I don't understand. Oh, I love peanut butter cups. And the other thing I like are the peanut butter pretzel things. They're not candy, it's more savory, but Trader Joe's has the peanut butter pretzel things, like whatever they're called. Goo Goo clusters. Yeah, those are so good. But a little peanut butter cup. I love the peanut butter cups. And crush them in some ice cream, some vanilla ice cream. Oatmeal raisin cookies. Montgomery's calling my name now. That's what I'm talking about. I really love the oatmeal raisin cookies. All right, the machine is off. Or no, it's on. The fan's blowing. Is it still working? We're only pulling 2 amps. I didn't see what it did. Did it do anything special here? Okay, it's getting to the login screen. Okay, so let me log in. We're gonna hide his credentials. And let me see if I can find his number. Wow, this password's long. So many letters. So many letters. Oatmeal raisin cookies. Just fuss around with the love, and they love the stream. Yes, thank you. Okay, the machine is off. Like I was about to log in, and then it turned off. But I think it had to do with me moving this. Oh! Okay, I'm going to tell you what just happened. And I've had this happen so many times now. Check this out. So I just moved this close to me, and then I tried to type in the password. And so watch this. Oop. Did it again. This right here is a magnet, and it keeps using a Hall effect sensor, and it's shutting off the laptop. Because I keep having it right next to me. Oh my gosh, I've done this so many times. I'm like, why did the screen turn off? What's going on with this thing? Why is it not working? I mean, a Hall effect sensor is a magnetic sensor, by the way, if you don't know. All right. I'm going to get this thing far away from me. Or I'm crazy. Okay, login screen. Nope. It shut off again. No, it keeps doing it, actually. I don't know if it's overheating or not. Feels pretty freaking hot, though. So it's like the screen is on. It's like it goes to sleep all of a sudden. Okay, we're at 5 amps. Pay attention to that. I want to put my test install on here, is what I want to do. Let me, here, I'm going to abort what we're doing. I'm going to add a couple more screws in here too, because I don't have like that many screws in here. It's crazy, this thing's already getting hot. Let me add some more screws. Let me put my test install on here, because I just want to not have to worry about putting passwords in or anything like that. And then we'll figure this out, because this is actually acting weird. Unless I have a secret magnet somewhere that's like in my desk or something. The video flex, but it's weird. It's like right when I get to the login screen, then the screen just kind of does like this little shut off thing, and then it like stops working. Is the music too loud? Should I turn it down? I felt like it was getting loud. I don't know why, but I really just wanted to just not have silence for me. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. Magnetic personality. Magnetic screwdriver? I don't know if I've seen my magnetic screwdriver do that, but I guess it could. Okay, so I just want to put enough screws in here to hold that in place. I'm going to actually put the bottom on so we can have the air flow properly, and then this little thing, this gummy, make contact. Oh, wait, I was going to put my SSD in there. The golden silence. All right, so I put my Mosbacher in there. Install. Silence is golden. Yeah, but it's pretty strange. Like, you guys are sitting with somebody else talking, but I'm sitting here talking to myself, or is what it sounds like, at least from a distance. Like there's no, whenever I say something, I kind of expect somebody to say something back, but nobody's talking except for, I mean, there's so many words on the screen. So I have to say the words back for the response. Okay. All right, let's get this going here. So I have my test install. This is Motherboard. So I had an employee that worked here for a little while. His name was Moorbacher was his last name, and so then we made an install called Motherboard, Lessbacher. We had a lot of Bachers. So this is Motherboard. So every single install we named. Now we just name them after different. We had a Blanche. We did all the Golden Girls. So we had a Blanche, a Rose, a Dorothy, and then what was the last Golden Girl? Can't remember. And then now we have King of the Hill. So we're doing Bobby. We have a Bobby install. And then I don't know why we do it. Here we got Motherboard up and running. We're going to make it all the way in. Motherboard is up and running. But we want to make sure that Betty White, who was Betty, what was her character? We want to make sure all the drivers are installed. I did use this on a test machine earlier, so it's the same machine. So we have the RTX 4060 and Iris graphics, so all that's installed. Chipset drivers are installed. Let's check the temperatures before we start doing anything. Rose, so it was, yeah, we said Rose, Blanche, Dorothy. Anybody? Gosh, why can't I remember? This is Iris graphics, I think. Or did you say XE? Is it XE? I don't know. Maybe I missed it. Oh, it's XE, you're right. Iris XE graphics. All right, so that's good. Temperatures actually look good. They're in the 50s. And let's open our stress test tool. And we did get a spike up to 100C for a second on the CPU, which is normal because it will actually thermal throttle all that stuff. And we're going to start running the GPU stress test. And we're getting 34 frames a second on full screen. So that's at 4K. And then if we go down to like a 1080p, let's see what it's at. 75, that's respectable for a 4060. Marge. That's right, Marge. Was she the oldest one? The mom? Sophia. Oh, it was Sophia. That's what it was. Yes, you're right, Sophia. So we never made a Sophia. We never got that far. And then now we're doing some other characters. Yeah, so Furmark is a furry thingy. It has a little furry donut. But it's working fine. And then we can do our Prime 95 stress test, which is going to test the CPU and GPU, or CPU and memory. So if I pull up our memory, there we go. So here's our memory and CPU usage, and then our temperature. So I'm going to have this all ready to go so we can see it. Okay, so we got a thermal throttle right there for a second, and then it turned off. Get ready. So we're going to go full CPU. So our CPU is going to go to 100%, and then we just want to look over here and see what our temps are. CPU's at 98%. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. There we go. Here's our CPU cores. Now, not all the cores are actually hitting 100%. Do you see that? So you should actually see all the cores go 100%, but we are having some probably thermal throttle. They're probably hitting 100 and then shutting off, hitting 100 and shutting off. And so that's what we're going to try to fix. So we'll probably PTM this then and try to make sure that we can get all of this to be 100. I mean, all this not to be 100, so then we don't have any of these thermal throttles. But it looks like we're starting to get most of them stay up there. But the system is staying good. I keep pointing and it goes out of focus. Sorry about that. Oh, Marge was the mom. So who am I missing then? Dorothy, Blanche, Rose. Was there 5 of them? I thought there was only 4. So maybe there was 5. Okay. So we need a Beavis and Butthead. That would be a good one. I like that idea. So Beavis would be, because I basically, I'll configure a laptop or a SSD, usually with Windows 11, but we'll have it for Inspirons or like older, lower end machines. We'll have it for Alienwares. We have them for XPSs. So that way it already has all the drivers, the chipset drivers, things like that. That kind of get you close, so you don't have to worry about it. This is a really weird pattern I've never seen. Usually all these cores should be all blue all the way across here. So definitely have some issues. And then this is all the way down to 60 on all these. So it's like it's thermal throttling a lot of them. So it doesn't like it that much. We'll see what we can do to fix that. The Rugrats, oh, that'd be a good one to do. Although I don't remember all the Rugrats names. It's been a long time. Is it a physical issue? It's probably the CPU is just getting too hot. And this machine doesn't have the best cooling in general, so whether we're going to be able to make it better, I don't know, but we're going to re-thermal paste the machine and then try it. But as you can see, it's working fine in my OS. So that's why I like to use my own OS anyway, because the customers, we kept getting the customer's login screen and it kept shutting off, so I don't know what the hell is up with that. Looked like the course capped out at 0.46. Really? The whole time? Was it? I didn't look, so can y'all jump back real quick? Can you look at the temperature thing and see if it was like before I started it, if it was at a higher clock, or right as I started, if it was at a higher clock and then it dropped down? Because what it will do is end up down clocking it if it was getting too hot or whatever. But let's re-thermal paste this. Yeah, 13 and 14th gen have terrible thermals. This is a 13th gen. Oh, Futurama, that could be good too. So it was at 2.85 and then capped out. So it dropped down. So it was at 3.5, then dropped down to 0.53. So yeah, so it definitely was higher, and then right as we started cranking it, it started dropping down. So, hey, it's 4 a.m. Are you waking up early to do some exercise, or you haven't went to sleep yet? Oh, start it back up. Okay, so I'm gonna we're gonna do the heatsink now and try to re-thermal paste this and see if we can change that. See if PTM helps, right? Or we can do it in stages. We could just do Arctic Silver and see how Arctic Silver does, right? So we got this off of here. So it's been re-thermal paste. That looks fairly fresh and new. This is the area I was talking about where it has a really flimsy cooler. PTM, okay. So this, the little flimsy little thing, it's just a flimsy piece of metal. Doesn't even have support that goes across. It seems like they could have put support that goes all the way across, but it doesn't. So it just basically makes a pressure there. And so what I usually do is I kind of bend this down just a little bit, so whenever it gets put in there, then it applies pressure, and then we put the little pad on top. So that's for the GPU, and then for the CPU, it has pretty good surface area, but it is not adequate. Fans are clear. The fans look good. I mean, we could toothbrush them just a little bit if we wanted to. I don't see anything coming out of those. There's a little bit of debris, maybe. A little bit. A little bit. The CPU should be making good contact. Now, when I moved it just now and took it off, it did that little swiping thing, so I don't know exactly how it was sitting. So PTM will definitely help that, so we don't have to worry about it not doing that well. All right, let's see if we can get this stuff up. Liquid metal barrier. There's no liquid metal barrier on this. This is just part of the CPU, this metal piece that goes around here. That arm is stupid. It is so stupid. I'm telling you, it's like a suggestion. Especially if since it's not even cooling these. And I think it's fine. This is a 4060, so I think this one will be fine. But the 4070, which was the machine I worked on earlier today, this was all melted over here, this whole thing. And these MOSFETs were completely having solder come out from underneath them because they were melting. Update the BIOS. In general, we don't need to do that. I mean, we can, but we have to be in his operating system so we don't lose his BitLocker key. PTM is cool, man. So cool. You have a 5070, and the fans are too loud. Is it too loud whenever you're running the 5070? Or is it constantly too loud? It's easy to take the heatsink off. PTM has been applied. Yes, it's very easy, actually. It's not like, there's not a lot of stiction like this, although this heatsink wasn't really stuck on here that well. So there's a chance that that heatsink got taken off and then put back on without having new thermal compound put on, because normally, you know, you really have to kind of rock it back and forth to get it to come off without it, you know, coming unstuck, basically. So, okay, under load playing games, it's too loud. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's much you can do about that. You can set it to not clock so high, maybe. Lower your settings, man. Do fans and vents need to be cleaned? I mean, the fans look fine. We cleaned them out or rubbed them. Those are fine. The vents, we can check that. Okay, I got most of it. We'll get it off of this. Yeah, it came off too easy. Too easy. All right, let's see if we have any debris in here. Maybe a little bit of Gucci-ness. We will clean that. Yeah, we'll see if we can get a lot better performance after doing this. And there's a chance it will be only minimal performance improvement. Because again, the design, these heatsinks are so skinny. And there's also, this machine doesn't even use that much wattage, so I think it is kind of clocking them down anyway. Yeah, the fans look clean, I think, enough. Come on. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so we'll use the rest of my PTM, I guess. You guys will get to see how to do it again. All right, so I'm just going to use this middle piece here because it's about the right shape, because I don't have much left. Maybe I can use this piece. Let's see. Yeah, we'll use this middle piece. Just like so. So remember the procedure. So we're just going to peel off one side, whatever side wants to come off. I don't really care. I just kind of start peeling on it to see whichever side wants to come off. Sometimes they have them where there's thicker on one side and thinner on the other side. So that just came off just fine. So I peeled that side off. I'm going to apply it like so. And it's on there. And I made it just a little bit bigger than the die so it can overhang all the way around. I'm going to rub it really good. So it's stuck on there. Take a pair of tweezers. Just going to lift up that corner and peel it back, and it's off. So I don't know why people say it's hard, but we got it now, right? You know the procedure now. Let's see if I have any more of this. The GPU doesn't need PTM, so we're just going to put this stuff on there. Just a dot in the middle, although that's kind of a lot. I squeezed it really hard, so a lot came out. That's too much, but I think it's going to be okay. Yeah, you can't stop CPU thermal throttling unless we can get the heat away faster. So we're going to line this up perfectly. Now I did bend that little thing down just a little bit, so it will apply a little bit more pressure on those. And normally I would do this whole sweeping thing. I don't want to do that on that side, but I don't mind doing it on this side a little bit, just to kind of smear that around. Okay. Why the laptop I bought new for $3,300 I bought for 1.8, 1,800. Well, that's a good price if you can get it that much cheaper. You missed the CPU reball. Did it work? Well, we reballed a PD controller. It wasn't really a CPU, but yes, it worked. All right, so now we'll put this guy back on here, back in your new home, right there. Put the bottom back on. All right, so are we going to get an improvement? That is the question. Are you kidding? The GPU has a higher TPD than the CPU at all times? Really? I hope not. This thing only has 6 amps. So this thing, I don't understand how this thing can run half the stuff it runs. I think it has to use the battery. That's probably why it requires a battery to be installed. Even the 5050 GPU in my new gaming laptop will only use 1080p during gaming. Hey Nathan, are you hiring? Not hiring. Some point I will, for like technicians. Is that what you're talking about? Because I mean, most of the positions I have are going to be like warehouse positions or something, but I'm not hiring for that right now anyway. I in general don't have a lot of turnover. Next month I have 2 of my employees have been here for 20 years. I already have one that's been here for 21 years, and then I have a couple more that have been here for 18 years. So I don't really have a lot of turnover. I treat them well, they treat me well. No one wants to leave. So that's good. You had a laptop with 45 watt CPU, but the graphics were limited to 65 watts. I don't pay attention to that too much, so I don't understand why this CPU would be harder to cool. These CPUs are, Intel's so hot. It's hot. Maybe it's the surface area. I don't know. But on all these, the CPU is the hardest thing to cool. That's where they put the double fans on, even on the Alienwares and stuff like that. They're always adding 2 fans on one side that are going to be for the CPU. I'm currently employed at another repair shop, and it's been pretty rough. Pretty good, but pay scale is really bad. Yeah, I mean, that's the hard part because there's no money in repair, right? So kind of the way I do it is I pay a hourly charge, not even that much. I mean, a decent wage. And then I give 20% of the repair labor charge to the repair technician. So that's kind of the split. And so that's been okay, you know, but nobody's getting rich. I'm not getting rich, they're not getting, I mean, that's just the way it is. Because if you charge too much, then nobody wants to fix their laptop. They'll just buy a new laptop. But if you charge too little, then you're negative. So for a long time, we were actually I was breaking even exactly, barely enough to pay the technician, period, and I wasn't making anything. That's how it was for probably about 15 years. All right, so what are we doing? Windows boot? Let's go. Do you have to threaten them with termination so they take their PTO? I mean, some of them have a lot of PTO. A lot. Because if you've been here for longer, let's see, I think 8 years I have it set up, and then you get 4 weeks of PTO. So you get a month a year. And then a lot of them just don't even take their PTO. And so I have it maxed out, so they just kind of, they use it whenever they want. Most people don't take advantage of me, I don't take advantage of them. That's just kind of how that works. We're all together. They also get plenty of paid holidays, and then I pay for full benefits, health insurance, vision, dental. I match 401ks up to 6%. So they get a lot of benefits besides pay, is what ends up happening. No repair questions in chat. That's correct. So you can't really ask me to multitask like that. We already had 2 cores hit 100. Even with the PTM. Even with that there PTM. So that's pretty annoying. Look at that. We're at idle, and we have those 2 cores hitting, that hit 100. The ones with exclamation points. And so let's just look, we're at 4.9 gigahertz. This laptop has a 5 gigahertz CPU in here. This is so crazy. Fans are pretty high right now, blowing pretty hard. No wonder 20 years you are a great employer. Well, I try to be. And sometimes that's kind of to my problem because I'm not like, I'm not making tons of money because I'm making sure that I take care of my employees. All right, let's start up the, what should we do first? Here, I'm going to do FarmArk again first, since that's what we did before. Okay, so FarmArk's going. And let's see what the temperatures are on FarmArk. So here's the temperature gauge right here. We're at 65. Hotspot at 73, so which is fine. I don't really worry about the hotspot too much. So the temperature 65, generally I just don't want it to go above 74 or 72 or something like that. So the hotspots in general is not that big of a deal. So I'm going to let it sit here for a minute on the CPU, on the GPU. I don't like thermal pads. Well, the PTM is not a thermal pad. It's actually going to turn liquid. So when it first comes on, it has to liquefy. So it has to break itself in, and it works better over time. So the more you use it, the better it's going to be. So right now, the PTM is fresh, and so we're going to have to let it kind of melt itself into place. So we're up to 68 now. So I just kind of want to see this thing cap out right around 70. You are the next Louis Rossmann. I don't talk fast enough because if I should be talking like this and doing all this. I'm not an activist either as much, but thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I enjoy teaching people, and hopefully people enjoy hanging out, doing this stuff. Paid time off was a concept for employers to unify leave time rather than separate vacation and sick. Yes, and that's correct. So when I originally started the business, I had 1 week of paid sick leave per year, and then which reset every year, and you just kind of had that, and then you had paid time off or vacation. And then I didn't want people to have to like say, well, I'm using this as sick time, or I'm using this as vacation. So then I just switched it to PTO, and then that's how we do it. So, and I have it basically accrue based on how many hours you work per week, and then it accrues per, so you've been here for like less than a year, you get like 0.96 hours per week based on a 40-hour work week, and then 1.54 per week, and then it's 2 point something, and then it's 3 point something per week, 3 hours per week, 3.5 or something like that. That's how I have it set up. All right, so it looks like the temperatures got up to 68, and now they're dropping back down, but it's still 100% usage, so looking pretty solid to me. I'm happy, never got up to it. Do you charge a $100 flat rate labor charge for solder jobs? So my motherboard repair is a flat $249. So if I have to solder on the board, it's the extra $120. So a regular repair is $129. This includes return shipping, a year warranty, things like that. And then if I have to do motherboard repair where I have to get under a microscope and solder, then it's an extra $120 for that. But again, it includes the return shipping and a year warranty. Nobody gives you a year warranty on anything. Parts and labor, everything. Completely covered. Okay, so we're going to stop that. So hopefully this is going to be better now that we let it break in for a little bit. So now I'm going to hit the start here and see if we never hit the max. Actually, I should have opened this task manager. Ooh, the cores look much better. And look, we haven't hit a max yet over here. Now we hit them on a couple cores and they dip down. But it is staying all blue here. If we can get this whole thing blue, that's what we're looking for, okay? And then we're looking here, this was at 4.9, we're at 3.6. Stupid backup, we don't want that. 3.5, 3.7. So we are breaking in the PTM though. We are starting to melt it and try to get it to run much better, but it is already running way better. We did have a couple cores drop out for a second here, but they are back. And we're going to see if it fixes itself. Now we're down to 2.5 gigahertz. So we started at 4.9, we're down to 2.5. Where are we located? We're in Austin, Texas, North Austin. We're actually in the same city that Louis Rossman is. He's on campus down near UT, and we're a little north of that. Okay, it is dropping out again. It's just not, I don't think this thing's going to be able to handle it. Now the temperatures look fine now, but now we're down to 2.7 gigahertz, and this is dropping. I mean, still think it looks better. And it's freezing looking. Let's see. It's always going to do that when I'm running this Prime 95 because it's running prime numbers to infinity. So it always looks a little laggy. Let's see if we can get this to kind of balance back out. 2.7 gigahertz. That was better than before, right? You miss Austin? You were here? Yeah, because this, you said that got down to like 500 megahertz or something, right? I mean, really, realistically, aren't laptops meant to be thermal throttle? Yes. Okay, now we're down to 2.8, 2.7. I mean, it doesn't even feel super hot. And what are we running at? 45 watts, 38 watts. Now, you see it's running, it's only pulling 100 watts out of there, but the charger is only 130 watts, so it has to keep a little headroom. 2.1 gigahertz is still better than 400 megahertz. Yeah, we're at 2.6. So did it really get down to that 400 or 500 megahertz? It looks like it's just keeping some cores going. I think that's better. Not perfect, but better, for sure. And this is like worst case scenario. We were literally, like, look at the RAM. The RAM, it's using every single, it has 64 gigs of DDR5 RAM. How much money? That's like $500 or $600 worth of RAM right there. Right? And we haven't maxed out. So, oh look, these cores are coming back up now. So, they got down to 450 for a second. Is it when I was changing tabs? Look, when I change tabs, it actually goes up to 2.9. So it got down to 450 earlier is what you meant. Okay, well, I think we're good. I'm going to stop this. I hate stressing these things too hard. But I'm going to stop this. All right, so that was good for science, right? Jeff went to dinner with his wife, which that's an awesome thing to do. If you guys are married, you need to take your wives out to dinner and have this intimate dinners. I don't get to do that enough with my wife, so. I think I'm happy with that. Let's put his SSD in here for the last thing because I just want to make sure that that's working because we weren't able to log into it earlier because it was acting a little bit strange. But I just want to put his in there since mine's working fine. What else we got? Yeah, Ultrabook is never going to run over the TDP. That's correct. Don't remind me of RAM prices. I'm telling you, somebody came and bought all my RAM. Uh-oh, the Twitch froze for a second, at least on my screen. Woohoo! All right, I'm just going to switch this real quick. Maxed out Dell Pro Max will zero your bank account. Yeah, didn't you spec one of those things out for like $9 grand or something? Montgomery was trying to spec out a machine, and so he built out an Alienware, and I think it was like $4,000, and then he built out a Dell Pro Max, and it was $9,000. You've been married since 1974. Congratulations. What is that? That's 51 years. Congratulations. Or 52 years, I guess, if you count this year. Married 37 years. I've been married coming on 19 years. And the bottom is off. Let's get Mosbacher out of here. Mosbacher, you have done your job. You know what we should do is we should rename this drive. We should have done it while we were in there and themed it out, because you theme it out, you put different wallpaper on there, you make it look like whoever you want it to be. 37 years, 44 years, 31 years, 15, pushing 16. Nate, June of 1974. That is incredible. June of 1974. Congratulations. 51 years. That's like, is that half your life? More than half your life, right? I'm 24 and making me feel old. Sorry about that. Whenever I think about, I've had this business for more than half my life. That's what I think about. I was 21 when I started this, and that was coming on 24 years ago. So more than half my life. So we got a 28 years, 24 years, 36 years, 54 years. And then you got someone who's 70. Oh, man. Oh, you're 70 and you have 28 years, so that's about, gotcha. What prompted you to start your own repair shop? Well, it wasn't a repair shop, that's the thing. It's not really, my main business is not repair, I can tell you that. So when I started this business, I was 21 and I bought a load of stuff. I was working at a local computer shop and doing some repair, and then I started running his eBay business. And then he laid me off, so then I bought out his inventory. I had like $5,000 saved up. I bought that inventory, and then I started selling it on eBay. And then I ended up putting up a website, and just kept reinvesting that money over and over again, that $5,000, and buying more inventory. And oh, did I not plug the battery in? Did not. And then yeah, so then I just started adding employees, and then I started offering service pretty quickly. So I think in 2003, maybe I was offering repair service. Now the battery's plugged in. Yeah, it's on. Anyway, I started offering repair service, but it's never been a money-making venture in general, so I just sell the parts. And then, but yeah, so now I have a warehouse that has like 700,000 parts in there. And yeah, it's on. And yeah, so repair business, I think, so last year, repair ended up being 7% of my business. Or 7.2 or something like that. I just calculated it. So that's really good, because the prior year was like 5, and the prior year to that was like 3% or something. And it never even made, like, I literally did not pay my technician's salary before. But the YouTube videos have made it where we got a lot more exposure, and I'm able to actually fund stuff. Now it's busier though, is the problem. It is a problem. Like, I literally have 50 laptops in the queue right now that need to be looked at. Now they're not all board repairs. I'm not gonna be looking at them. I have technicians that are gonna look at them first, and then they'll figure out if it's a bad motherboard, then they'll send it to me. Now I have other stuff I have to do. I run the company and do all the other stuff too, all the coding. Not vibe coding. I do not vibe code, just to let you know. We got some more stuff in here. We got 56 years. We got 42 years, 61 years. Man, 36th year. All right, so we're on this login screen. I'm going to hit the button here. Okay, so it's actually staying on now, so I don't know what it was doing earlier, why it was being so fussy. Let me see if I can get his password entered. No one look here. Everyone close their eyes. Okay. Um, 48, 32, 46, 64, 66. Wow. All right, so we are up and running. I don't know. I think there's some personal stuff here, so I'm going to keep this. But it is staying on. That's all I can say. So I don't want to actually tilt the screen and show you all anything, but Jeff looks pretty good playing his guitar. I'm assuming that's Jeff, or maybe it's just somebody playing guitar. And it's staying on, so that's what we wanted. Oh, man. Okay, so we are good. We're done with this one. I'll put it back together later. I'm tired. What time is it? Oh, yeah, we're on our wrap-up time. But I'm going to shut this down. Anyone want a nice IRS 7-year in-depth audit? I'm back working this spring. Nate, would you just change the camera view? You could just change the camera. Yeah, that's right. But I didn't really type in a password. There was no password I typed in. All right. What do you prefer, getting a new laptop, AMD or Intel? You have less issues with it. I mean, Dell only has a few different AMD systems, and if they're Alienwares, then there's a few different machines that has issues that I don't like dealing with. So I would prefer the Intel in general, just because Dell has more experience with it. You want to change the title to just chatting. I don't want to start another laptop. I'm tired. So we're just going to hang out. Oh, man. We're going to hang out. Y'all can ask questions. I can do a little fun stuff, but I'm not going to start another laptop. Not going to start another laptop. Thanks for sharing the video. No problem. Yes, the wrap up. Head home. Yeah, because I'm like crashing. That the coffee is headed out. You got married in 2009 and divorced in 2013. Never again. Never again. Did you get married with a kid? Because that will do it. Who won the Just Chatting race? Looks like Premise and DIY Dave were on it together. Look at that. They did it really fast. Long, long day. Yeah. Pushing, what, 13 hours, 14 hours? Oh, you work pretty late today? Thanks for the stream. How often do you have warranty repairs? You know, not that often. Let me see. I mean, I fix a lot, so it's like, you know, you're going to always have warranties, and it's always weird stuff. It's like, oh, because we're very thorough, like with our exit, with it leaving. So we have a, you know, a full diagnostics that we're testing. We're doing like all these different, like I'm saying, we're testing every port, different directions and stuff, and we run stress tests, and we you know, we do a lot of stuff. And so in general, we don't miss things, but sometimes, you know, like, hey, you know, because we even test the sound, we test the Wi-Fi. Sometimes we're like, oh, yeah, we did forget to plug in, you know, the speakers or something like that. That type of warranty happens where we just kind of forget to do something. Like Montgomery, we sent back his, and my technician forgot to plug in the Tron lights, which is like the aerial, it like lights up on the back. So right now we have, it looks like there's 4 warranties that are been queued up to get sent back, and we sent them return labels, but that's been, there was, I don't know, 1, 2, 3 of those were months ago. Like they just never sent it in. They never sent it back. We sent them the label. So I would say like, less than 1 a month. But it happens. I mean, you know, everything happens. Any concurs? Does everyone concur with everything good here? But we do about 100 and, I think right now we're doing 140 repairs a month or something like that. 130. And whenever I do a warranty, I pay for everything. So that's what, you know, it gets costly, right? So you're paying for return shipping, you're paying shipping there, shipping back, and all this stuff. So you never want to have a warranty, because a warranty usually takes away all your profit, because it costs about $50 for that round trip, not to mention the time with the technician and all the other stuff. So you usually lose any profit you had in the repair. Ain't nothing like wearing yourself out. and having fun with Nathan. Great video. Thank you. So less than 1%. Yes, definitely less than 1%. Now, for motherboard repairs, because I didn't even think about that. You're asking questions in general because like that's for all repairs, right? So motherboard repairs, you know, I probably do 20 something motherboard repairs a month, 30, I don't know. And I don't get very many of those. I've probably had maybe 10 ever, 5 ever, I don't know. Less than 10, I can tell you that, ever. And I do year warranties on my repairs. So, but that's what's funny. So when I switch to a year warranty on all my products, like I don't get a year warranty on anything. I don't get a warranty in general. When I buy stuff, I'm buying truckloads of stuff from Dell, so I get no warranty. So I always had 30 days warranties at the starting, and then I did 90-day warranty, and then finally I was like, if I'm selling something, I expect it to last a year, for God's sake, right? So then I'm like, okay, I'll just do a year warranty. So I started a year warranty, and everyone fought me about it here at work. They were like, that's a bad idea. And I'm like, look, if I sold somebody something that didn't last a year, then I ripped them off. That's my thought. So, you know, they're covered. That's how it works. So that's why I always sell things that last a year, no matter what. And that's a full, like, you know, I send you the product with the return label to get it back. So I only have to wait for it to come back and all that stuff. And I just trust people, and hopefully they send back the part. A lot of times they don't, but that's just the way it is. Cost of doing business. That's why we have good reviews. 140 repairs in a month is too much volume. At this point, it's bad. Yeah. Like I said, I have 50 in the queue right now. 50. And so I have one full-time tech that does stuff, and then me, and then I have 2 other techs that will kind of jump in and do stuff. And so I have one that's mainly just like a part installer tech, where he'll just like change out back covers or screens or whatever, or handles a lot of my local people who bring in stuff, because I'll have local customers come in and bring in stuff, so they mainly handle those. Yeah, if it passes 90 days, it will go to a year. That's in general, yeah. So, and it's not like a compounding thing. If you think about it, you're like, oh, well, if you're having, you know, one fail every month or a product fail every month, then that means you'll have 12 products failing at any given day or any given month, because you're compounding them, but that's not how that works. Do you bill them again? There's no billing again. Warranties are warranties, right? So, oh, if it's unrelated, yes. So I had an unrelated one the other day. Yes, okay, so the X17 R2 and R1, they both have like this keyboard issue. And so there's this one part that I change out and it fixes the keyboard in Windows. Well, he called after like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months or 6 months or something like that and said, hey, my keyboard's doing it again. And I said, that's strange. I've never had it actually come back. And I'm like, that's worrisome, because the part that they put on is a new part that's separate from the Dell supply or whatever. So I was like hoping, I'm like, oh shoot, is it now, are they going to reoccur fail? Because I've fixed so many, like 30 or 40 of those machines. Am I going to have a lot of those coming back? Anyway, when it came back in, it ended up being the MCU board that was bad, which is the controller board that controls the keyboard and lights and all that, and changed that board out and it works. So all I did is I charged them for the MCU board in return shipping, and because I paid for the shipping to get to me. And so then I was just like, well, we'll just scratch that. So I didn't pay him for the labor or anything. I just installed it and then charged him for the return shipping and the parts. So he still got out cheap. True people are kind of shitty. That's right. Very cool to be honest to send it back. There's probably, I'd say maybe 10 or 20% of the people don't even send the part back. And so that's the only thing, like if I need to improve like something, it is checking my returns. Like, so we have a whole process for whenever the return comes in, and I have it where it tracks it and scan it. We scan it, prints out labels, and it goes to a tester, and the tester tests it, and it gets, all this stuff gets done, and then they get refunds are processed. But did the customer send it back is the only one I don't have, and I just need to do like an automated, cron job that goes out and just checks all the tracking numbers that we sent out and sees if, they've been tracking, and if one's taking a little too long, then to contact, or hit us with a, whatever, tell my customer service to contact them. I do small devices, about 500 line. Wow, that's a lot. I have a company here that I deal with that I sell a lot of, he does a lot of work for schools. He'll do he says 500 laptops in 3 days. Think about that. That's crazy. But he does Chromebooks. So the thing about Chromebooks is, and he's just swapping parts. So it's just like Chromebooks have like, 8 parts that are always going wrong. So then it's just like screen replacement, keyboard replacement, motherboard replacement, and you're just swapping these things out really quickly. And so you have a school, ship in 500 of them and need them back in 3 days. And so then he just knocks those out, and it's crazy. 500 laptops in 3 days. I mean, Chromebooks. So he's doing thousands and thousands and thousands. Aftermarket battery for it, Area 51M, $37. Came twisted end to end. Oh gosh, could have fit it back. Oh my God, that's messed up. Oh, flashing the quick flash at the starting of the Alienware head is a piece of jacket. So a quick flash is going to be a 4.1, and that means the battery's not detected. Hey, yeah, Dell and HP get your ass about, gets on your ass about returning parts on time. I bet they do. I have 84 repairs in this week. Wow, that's a lot. And you're doing the smaller stuff though, right? Oh my gosh, I'm like crashing here, especially if it's not doing the diagnostic. Yeah, so it's just like a really quick thing where you're just swapping parts. Aftermarket batteries, oh wait, I already read that. When it's sent back, when the warranty is sent back, we need to replace the parts that broke before. Need to replace them again. The warranty will still start from the new parts time and stay for the first year's warranty. Oh, that's pretty good. I haven't had too many experiences with having to kind of start their warranty over again. So, yeah, I don't know. Because I just don't have that many warranties to have to deal with. Sorry, my nose is itchy. Chromebooks suck, except they're really cheap and they're great for kids because they're simple and there's not much to them. So, yes, they suck. I always like them for like people who are non-technical. Give them a Chromebook. It's just perfect. You don't have to worry about updates. You don't have to worry about viruses. You don't have to worry about everything. 500 in 3 days. He's working till 1 a.m. No, he has a whole team of people. He doesn't do it. He doesn't even know how to do all this stuff. He doesn't do it at all. Great stream, Nate. Good night. Well, thanks for coming, John. Appreciate it. I'm glad that you are able to stop by. And don't forget, having those t-shirts made by Nate, Flux Off, printed on them. That's right. I need to do that. I'll work on some Flux pun shirts. I don't really sell that many shirts anyway, so it's like it's not super high priority. I probably sell, I don't know, 4 shirts a month or something. Not very many, but I have a link in the video description. You can buy this shirt. I saved another laptop. It's probably because the shirts are so expensive, but it's not like I have any control over how much a shirt is. They're print on demand. 500, how can they get it done? I'm telling you, it takes less than 10 minutes a laptop. That's why. They're just changing a screen. This one's here for a bad screen. Swap the screen out, just pops out, flip the cable off, put the new one in, stick it in there, and then it's done. Chromebook is partly okay because of browsing. Licorice on me, yes! All right, I'll have to wait a couple weeks, but I will be buying some licorice. Thank you. Love the licorice. Love the licorice. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up. I gotta get home. It's almost putting the kids to bedtime, so. Any last questions here? Still waiting on a Concur shirt. I do have Concur. Oh, Premise, yes. So Premise, I have 2 things I'm sending to you, but I haven't finished the Concur shirt that I wanted to make, and I started working on it again, but I haven't finished it. And DIY Dave, I need to get with you and Dave Unbranded and JFix and all the mods. I want to send you guys some gifts. I need to get you guys this information, shipping addresses, but I'm gonna get some stuff together, and everybody's getting a little gift package from me. But yes, I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. It was nice, fun. We saved 2 laptops. Two laptops. I was kind of worried about one of them. Which one was it? The first one or the second one? Yeah, the first one I didn't really know what it was, but It being a BIOS made sense because we did see it, how it kind of spiked up, went down, and then never made it on that next spike. So being able to see that chart, that did make it a little bit easier. So we did know that it was trying to boot the BIOS. Putting that new BIOS on there was able to fix it. And then the other one, we figured out that it was that PD controller pretty quickly, and then we had to solve the overheating issue. So I'm glad we were able to get that wrapped up. I want to thank everybody for coming out. Thanks for the donations to the stream. I donate the money to the repairs, and so they get a discount on their repairs. So anything that you donate to that, I pass that over to them, except for my licorice money. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys, and thanks for watching. I saved 2 laptops!